Hey, Vic.
How you doing?
Great. How about you?
I'm here.
Well, we're glad about that.
Yeah, glad to have the family back together.
You know,
Oh, somebody
our-
bought. You guys got some turkey and gravy.
Yes,
You guys family feast.
sure. I like the family
Yeah.
feast at Long John Silver's, so I like to consider myself a hush puppy in that feast.
I have had Long John Silver's since I was probably a teenager, and there's like I think the only one in the country left in Lorraine.
I feel like that's a front for a mob organization because nobody's ever there, and yet that place has been around for decades. It was like Boble's. Nobody ever shopped there, but it was
Yeah.
there for decades.
Hey
Like,
man,
what else is happening in the back rooms
if
of
you
those
want the
places?
best of deep fried salt, salty goodness, that you'd look no further than
Dude, they got
Bobles.
great. Yeah. Boble's. Hey, I bought my P205.
Yeah, man, Bobles was the best.
Fine threading
Do you
instruments there.
do you remember what we
Hey,
saw
Vic.
at the last time we were at
Joe?
Racine's? Speaking of front for the mafia,
Them gambling in the back room,
I don't.
counting money.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Yes.
The giant stack of money. I'm like,
Right.
let's get the fuck out of here, man. And that was it. We bought our books, like just got out of there calmly. I said, don't look.
We
At
didn't see anything.
He just kind of gave us a look, and we're like, oh fuck that. Jesus, he knows our faces. We're gonna die. Gonna fucking be whacked.
We're the guys that buy Robert E. Howard shit every time we come
Yeah, we're the cool guys, man.
in.
That was insane.
Yeah,
That was like something out of like, man, wrong place, wrong time.
Where was this at?
Racine's bookstore, downtown Lorraine.
Oh yeah,
remember
don't ever go to Lorraine for anything.
We were teenagers, or
Yeah, we were
20,
young.
about 19 or something.
You still should have known better.
Yeah. We went to Bookseller, we went to the mall, and we went to Racine's because Racine's had books that Bookseller didn't. We could get great used books for Robert E. Howard and fantasy books that no one else carried. That's why we went to Racine's. And just happened that one time the curtain to the back room was pulled. We walked in, we looked in, and there's this big guy. I mean, he must have been 350, 400 pounds. And there's a stack of money 2 feet tall,
Straight out of Sopranos.
spread out all over this.
And somebody was eating some gabagool or whatever.
Gabagool. Yeah.
And he just
Yeah,
kind of
that's the
looks
fuck-
at us. He's
that's the
like all
fucking
heavy, kind of
Goodfellas
looks at us,
shit right
kind of
there, man.
sweaty,
That's
like looking at him. I'm like, oh, and I'm sure we just want Ash and like, let's get a book.
Yeah.
I don't care. Pick a fucking book, man. We got to get out of
That
here.
place was great because it was filled with old hustlers and playboys. They were just
Oh, I already
everywhere.
like the sound of this
Just
place.
stacks of them.
Great
So
that age, yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
they didn't
In our
check your
teens.
ID.
Oh,
No,
you
no
could-
ID.
Yeah, you could rent those for 15 minutes at a time. Dreadbull never needed more than 3, but he
30
was gonna-
seconds, all I need.
he was got a discount because he was a quick user.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah.
right. In and out, man.
Mhm.
Get the job done.
Yeah.
One stroke
Don't
mark.
mess around.
Yeah.
He's a real one hitter. Yeah.
That's right. Hop, hop. Ah. Yep.
I barely get the centerfold unfolded.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. You were disappointed the
After
first time you
stick
saw a real
together by
naked girl that
somebody
she didn't
else,
have a
yeah.
staple in her belly.
This is going to be a challenge one, but it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, how's
Oh.
it going, Justin?
Too bad. How you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
Oh, nice,
Justin.
nice
Great
mummy
to see you.
poster. I've got the same one.
Nice.
Yes, a friend of mine's just left it here. Was moving house, so asked me to hold on to it. So I said, "Yeah, of course. It'll
Yeah.
look good in my it'll look good in my basement." So
Nice, nice.
What they say, possession is 9/10 of the law. So
That's right.
I believe that's
That's
your
right.
poster now.
does that include demons as well?
That's
I
right.
think I've got a few inside of me.
Well, exercise those on the new album.
Yeah. Well, we did that on the first one. So I mean,
Right. Yes.
So,
and
Vic,
how's
when-
everybody else in heavy metal horror world? It's great to see Wildcard back.
yes,
I'm
the
here.
family's reunited.
Yes.
If it's because of you,
Mhm.
he wouldn't come
Game's
back for
on
us.
here.
He wouldn't
Yeah.
come back.
Because of you.
Oh,
I'm
no.
not doing it. Justin
Yeah.
wants me to do it. I'll
Took
do
someone the stature of Justin Biggs to get Vic
That's
back
right.
here.
Talk
Wow.
about
We are
BDE.
family. So.
He doesn't like us anymore.
Well, that
It's
sounds
got
like
big stick
something-
energy. That's what it is.
It's nice to know that Vic's like me and we set the bar extremely low.
it. Right.
Listen here, Montag. Fastest draw. I got this.
Oh man. Well, listen, we're looking forward to hearing all about what's going on in an official capacity, and we really love your music, man. And you too, Vic. Don't feel bad.
Oh, I'm not taking any offense to
Yeah,
anything.
your music's okay too, Vic.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's all right. But
Cheers, brother.
no, it's great to have you back on, Justin, and thank you for
Always a
joining us.
pleasure.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. So I guess we should probably get into it so we can get on with our day. How's that?
Let's get slugging.
That's it. Yeah,
Ooh,
no,
I
you
like that.
you
That's
won't
good.
you won't understand appreciate the majesty of this when the special effects, sound effects come in. But on the finished episode, you're gonna hear some lovely ring bell rings.
All
I
that
get those-
post-production magic.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Those fist sounds. Poof, poof, poof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my
Good.
beautiful artwork that I do with every Slugfest. It's amazing. So yeah, go back and listen to Slugfest 3. You can hear that ding ding. So
Yeah.
lovely. All right, here we go.
High quality.
This is Jarvis Leatherby from the heavy metal band Night Demon. You're listening to Heavy Metal Horror.
I am Montag, master of illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always.
Hey, this is Chop Top, and this one's called The Piece of the Beast, so stay heavy.
Yeah.
And Dreadbull
And you are watching.
and Vic. Jeez.
He's a guest now. He doesn't.
Yeah, I'm a guest now. I don't get to
The
say
guest
my-
now.
I don't get to do it.
Oh,
He's part of the family. He was, but then
Hey,
he
what's
left.
up on Wildcard? Hey.
You son of a bitch!
Look at that.
Justin, you want to join us?
I'm just Justin.
There you go. And you are watching and listening to Heavy Metal Horror. Oh, kitties. Ooh, tonight we've got a good show. Welcome to Slugfest 4. We've got some members of the family back. That's right. It's like a family reunion without the making out. Big Wildcard Stone is back. Fresh off the trail of the new Vindicator music and new Volcana records being released. That's
Yes.
very exciting. I love the multicolored vinyl, man. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, it turned out real great. I'm genuinely pleased with that because I didn't know what we were going to get. I mean, literally it's random color. That's the only heads up we had. So I was hoping that it wouldn't be anything too like off the wall, but apparently Gotta Groove does a pretty good job of matching the color scheme of the art. And that worked out perfectly for us because the art for Goddess of Flame is there's a lot of color in there. And they did a wonderful job pulling from that and kind of making variants. It's turned out great. Super pleased with it.
Nice.
Beautiful.
And Justin, you and Sorcerer, you are making a new album. You're on Metal
Yes.
Blade Records. And can you tell us? Well, what can you tell us about the new album?
Well, I can tell you that it's an album in the works.
Nice.
We have an album in the pipe. I
Okay,
can't go into
that's a
too
relief.
much yeah, I can't go into too much detail about it.
Is there now?
But-
Hang on. Are there songs on this album?
There are songs on this album.
I
but
thought so.
I
I
would-
thought so.
I would say that if you liked and enjoyed Lamenting of the Innocent, and thanks for everybody that's reviewed it, you guys alike, and everybody else out there who's listened to it and given us great feedback. So if you've liked it or you enjoyed Lamenting of the Innocent, this is sort of we're carrying on with the torch held high here, and we're throwing in a few more twists and turns just to stir up the mix a bit. So kind of really anxious and excited to hear what everybody thinks, but more on that once we have an official date. I can say that the album artwork is done. The artwork for the singles is done. All the lyrics, everything's written. I finished the bass today. Christian's finishing up his solos today. Peter's just going through his guitars one last time just to make sure he's, crossed all of his T's and dotted his lowercase J's. And yeah, and Anders is, of course, doing some singing. So
Only some.
only some, but he's taking a little break right now just to rest his voice up. But he's back in the studio on Thursday, and I think that all in all, we should have everything done by the end of this month. So in the next 7 days.
Nice.
You guys are anticipating a fall release, possibly? Do you have a
Yeah, I would say because the way that the record industry is, when Adele released her last record, like it just swamped all the vinyl pressing places, and now Metallica's bought up
Yes.
their own record printing place, I'm sure, to give us more 72 seasons. But anyways, yeah, so
72 more seasons.
That's
72
right.
more seasons. But yeah, it's depends. I'm hoping that it'll be a fall release. So in the autumn at some point, not sure when, but
That's a good release time.
Seems like forever, though.
Yeah, for doom metal band, that's a perfect
Yeah.
release,
Yeah, but I think it's also a good time, because if you release in the autumn, that gives you a good kind of setup for the year after. So 2024, that would be a really good festival year for us,
Right?
Because we're riding on a release, so I think that that's actually the best time to release an album is in the autumn.
Nice.
But we'll see.
It's
Nothing.
gonna be exciting. Well, then we got to get the Vindicator Sorcerer tour going. All throughout the United States.
We just can't. My rider can't be fulfilled. I just don't think it's gonna happen because apparently Europe can't get green M&Ms. So
because that's the only thing on your rider, just green M&Ms.
It is green M&Ms.
You can get green M&Ms here.
Oh, it's on.
It's on. It's on then.
That changes everything.
We want Sorcerer to come here, though.
Yeah,
I would
Sorcerer's
love
got
to.
to tour the States.
Come on over.
Look, we all have houses you guys can stay at. We got plenty of rooms in our house.
You can stay in Ohio every night.
That's right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's how many houses we have.
That's right.
I would love to come to Ohio.
We would love to have you here, to be honest.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
There are a lot of
that'd be
great
great
venues
fun.
you guys could play at. Oh yeah, that would be fucking
Let's
awesome.
look into it. We won't say no, but if there's promoters out there,
That's the key thing. That's the key thing. So you always get these people that are like, come play my backyard in this place. And it's like, well, talk to your local promoters. That's how that works. So listen, you guys, you three guys, you chops and dreads and mons, you have to, and the viewer, you got to talk to your local promoters. And that means you have to email them and you have to regularly hound them to get individual bands over here. It's unfortunately harder probably for Justin and Sorcerer to come here and play shows on account of visas and all the crazy clearance that you have to get. It'd probably be easier for me to go to Europe and play a show. I can't say that for sure because I've not done it, but I feel like it's easier for us from the US to go play other places than it is for other places to come to the US and play. So there's a lot of logistics involved in that. But if you want to see a band in your backyard, you have to talk to your local promoters and hound them. Basically, every morning when they go to leave for work, you should be on their front porch naked saying you got to bring this band over here because you want to make an impact. That's why
they'll definitely give attention. Yeah,
that's why you're naked. You got to be like, what the fuck's going on here? This guy's naked. He really wants this band to come over here. Maybe don't have a boner. That'd be weird, but
Well, that's why we're there. This is what we're excited about the band being here. But
I mean,
hard.
try to restrain it because then you're crossing a line.
I'm sorry. You talk of a new Sorcerer release.
Let's
put the impact and victim impact statements.
That's right.
A lot of impact there.
On that note, here's how Slugfest works.
Speaking of
kiddies.
boners.
Speaking of boners, if you've not listened to Slugfest before, we've got a boxing
Vinyl?
match. We're going to compare album to album. Oh, look, yes, Justin's got the number.
That's it. I can't be upstaged by Justin.
You're relentlessly upstaged by Justin, Vic. And today's Slugfest, we've got two Iron Maiden greats, arguably two of their best albums ever made. We've got Number of the Beast and Peace of Mind going at it track by track, one round at a time. We're going to be voting Oh, Vic's brought something back.
Vic's
Oh,
brought some
okay.
vinyl.
What I miss?
Vic's taking the Slugfest
So
seriously.
look, man, this is
Gonna
my beat up.
counterpunch.
This is my beat up copy of
Uh-huh,
this
uh-huh.
one of the Beast. But here, yeah. So now me and Justin can both be like, bom, bom, bom.
I also
sound-
got these just because I
Did you
have
bring
to
the
update you
CDs
now.
too? Did you
I've
get the
got-
CDs down too? Damn it!
Whoa!
Oh,
Oh, you
nice.
brought out Killers.
Nice.
I'm not doing
my
that. I
goodness.
got those
And
too.
I got
but
that
I'm not getting up
one.
again.
And Killers. There we go.
And what else do I got? I got
Power Slave.
Made in
Oh, Made in
Japan.
Japan.
Oh my
Nice.
God.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fine.
Mhm,
Fine.
mhm. Oh, Vic's. Oh, off we go.
This week on Vinyl Showcase.
Final slugfest.
That's our
Final
track.
Slugfest.
The dicks and the measuring sticks are out. Here we go.
Well,
Vic's coming
Big
up
Final
short right
Energy
now,
is
but he's-
winning.
I have to say that I'm content with the length of my vinyl collection, and I'm all
Well,
right
you know,
with that.
look how many Vic has. You know he's compensating for something.
Exactly.
It's how you use them. That's what they always say.
Punch
Yeah,
and
exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
We
And
go with
and-
one of Ingve's
All
favorites.
right,
Vic
so
teased
Vic,
us, but didn't.
Vic's looking to overcompensate. Let's
Look,
see.
Yeah,
now,
look at
I
those
didn't get all
walls.
the. I got all the. I got all those too. But then I also got hot
Ooh, women in uniform.
women in
Nice.
uniform.
Yeah, man.
Now
Nice.
this I know that has nothing. Now here's the thing though. This actually does apply to what we got going on. So I don't have the version with Total Eclipse on it. I have Total Eclipse on this. This is a bootleg, and prior to them releasing, I can't really get it so you guys can even see it because the artwork's real
You could
garbage.
take the. You could, take the sleeve out.
Yeah. It's still you're probably not going to be able to. Honestly, you're not going to be able to make out
That's
what the hell's
fine.
going on here. It's
If people are
chaos.
still listening, they're in. So
That's
So-
a hot mess.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a bootleg. This is where I have Total Eclipse, and this actually came out prior to that box set that they did. What was it called? Like, something of the
12
Beast.
wasted years? You talking
Yeah.
about
No, the box set that had like the shot
Ed-
glass
Eddie's
and the
Archive?
scroll. Eddie's
Oh.
Archive.
Archive.
Oh, that one. Oh,
So,
yeah.
and for some reason, Total Eclipse also isn't on any of the Eddie's Archive stuff because there's the B sides.
it's on the B sides. Yeah.
It's not on that. It's
Oh,
not on
well,
the
diff-
Eddie's Archives one.
No,
So
the 12 wasted years, and it was on that video.
Okay,
that was
yeah.
the first time that Dread and I first heard that. We're like, what is this song? Total Eclipse. What the hell is this?
We'll get there. I have some choice words for that song. We'll get there.
All
We'll get there,
right.
right? We're waiting on track one. As long as Vic's, are you done?
I'm done.
showing
I'm
off?
done. I'm done showing
All
off.
right.
Sorry.
So here's the format. We're going to take track one. We're going to discuss track one of both albums. And we're going to discuss the merits, and we're going to vote who's the winner. So, Dreadbull, are you
As in rounds
score?
of a fight.
as
I
in
have my
rounds of a
score.
boxing match? That's right.
I have my scorecard right in front of me.
All
I'll
right,
keep track.
and just wait to hear this wonderful sound. Here it is. Yeah, right. Oh, it's going to
Oh,
sound
there
great.
Wait, can you
I
do that
guarantee it.
again? Can you do that again? I think my volume's too.
Yeah.
Okay, I think
just
I heard
wait.
that.
Just
There
wait
it
till
is.
the show comes out. It's going to be awesome.
It's
All right, so
blown away.
it is, man. It's going to be fucking sweet. Okay, kids. Well, let's start with track one. We've got Invaders versus
Mm.
Where Eagles Dare. Now, I was going to start with your, but yeah, we can do that. That's fine. That's fine. I think we should let Justin go first. So track one, round one, Invaders versus Where Eagles Dare.
Yeah.
There we go.
Ding,
Okay,
ding.
ding ding. Okay, Justin,
Yeah.
you
So-
go first.
So arguably two of Maiden's best opening tracks in their back catalog, to be brutally honest. I can remember hearing Invaders for the first time and being absolutely bowled over by just the intensity of the song when it kicks in. So a great opener. One of the tracks that's never been played live by the band, which is a shame. But I'm just chalking that up to Dickinson not being able to get that high in a live setting. And I don't think he would be able to do it now, to be honest. And then on the other hand, you have Where Eagles Dare, which is like one of the most bold tracks ever. It just comes out of the gate swinging in every direction. And I love the guitar solo section, like the interlude section in the middle with like the rototoms that are like kind of like machine guns.
Yeah.
And it's just, I got goosebumps now just talking about it. When I heard that, it was just like, this is bliss. So I love both tracks, but for me, Where Eagles Dare takes the cake on this one.
Where
right.
Eagles Dare.
Okay. Dread's marking a score
I'm
down. Okay.
chalking that one up.
Okay. Wild card. Invaders versus Where Eagles Dare.
So I can't argue with Justin, and I'm pretty sure I know how Justin feels about these two records, and that I probably feel similarly. We'll see as this progresses. Yeah, I agree with everything he said. Two great openers. Here's the thing with me. I love Invaders, but to be honest, this is going to sound mean and brutal, but if Invaders compared to Where Eagles Dare is kind of infantile to me. I love the song. It's fucking great, but there's a step up here in writing. And again, I'm not trying to downplay either track. They're both great tracks. Invaders is a solid track. It's an energetic track. It's very fun, but I just feel like Where Eagles Dare is a little more well thought out. And again, you're talking, with Nico coming into the fold here, I think they had a little more access to, kind of creative rhythm parts, and that may have played a role in the overall scheme of both albums. But I prefer Where Eagles Dare as an opener. And again, I don't want to fight anybody over it, but I just like that one better.
That's what we're here for. Slugfest. It's time to fight. All right, Chop
You're in
Top.
the ring.
We got another vote for Where Eagles Dare. Chop Top.
Yes, sir. I'm going to go. Well, first, let me say about Invaders. I love it. Does come out of the gate. I love the pace of that song.
Yeah.
I love the bass line during the chorus with Invaders. Yeah, it's really slamming.
Excellent.
I love the tempo. But then, man, you got probably, arguably, one of the best drum introductions of any heavy metal track in Where Eagles Dare. When you first heard that, you're just like, what the fuck, right?
Yep.
So, and I think that, and I agree with Vic on that. I think it's a more, not that Invaders bad, it's a more finely constructed song overall. And I think the rhythm section really came into their own, introducing Peace of Mind. Because now you got with, Nico's in there and Steve's been working together for a little bit. And after Clive Burr, not taken away from Clive or anything else.
Right.
But I do think this is the better written song. And I think that the source material is a little bit more interesting lyrically for it. So my vote goes with Where Eagles Dare.
Well, all right.
Well, that sews up round one
It
already.
sews up round one, but we got to put in our 2 cents worth. Dreadbull, your take on.
Yeah, I have a slightly different viewpoint of Invaders. I've never much cared for that track. I've always thought that was kind of one of the weaker openers of the early era of Maiden, when you consider all the other ones out there. Even the early stuff like Prowler and what was the other opener on
Ides of March.
Yes. Well, and then Wrathchild, yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, this was an easy one. I mean, Where Eagles Dare is, from that opening drum solo. I think the intensity of that song, the energy of it never wanes. They keep it up throughout the whole thing. And I think it's one of their best openers in their forever, maybe aside from maybe Moonchild, which is, I think, one of my favorites of all time. But yeah, for me, easy call. Where Eagles Dare for round one.
Yeah. Good one.
All right. Dreadbull, it's interesting that you say that about Invaders, because that was kind of exactly what I think too. It's not one of my favorite songs. It's got an energy to it, but I think other tracks on the album are better. For an opening song, yeah, it was like, oh, it's okay. But Where Eagles Dare is the first Iron Maiden song I ever heard. And I immediately, within like 8 seconds, I'm like, oh, this is my band right here. I don't know what these guys are going to do or what they're going to talk about, but I'm in. And the drum intro, the heavy guitar riffs, and then realizing, oh, this is the Alistair MacLean story. Oh, this is awesome. And yeah, the musical interlude, everything we've talked about. Yeah, hands down, not even a fight on this one. Where Eagles Dare takes the first round for me. It's just a big uppercut.
Yeah, and I think Invaders it's missing the melodic elements and the powerful chorus, that Maiden is famous for. So yeah, I think that's where it kind of is a little weaker, in my opinion. So
All right.
clean
Clean
sweep,
sweep
for Where
round
Eagles
one
Dare.
and goes to Where Eagles Dare. Ah, very nice. Okay, we're getting into round number 2. We've got Children of the Damned versus Revelations. Okay, round 2. Justin, your take. Children of the Damned versus Revelations.
Well, yeah, I mean, Children of the Damned, it's one of my kind of like favorite stories. You know, I love the Midwich Cuckoos and the different films that were spawned from that book. And obviously this is about the kids with evil eyes, you know. And it's a good track. I'm not gonna lie, it's awesome. I love it. It's epic. It has all the right nuances that make a Maiden classic. But then you got Revelations, which is like, you know, with Maiden being Maiden and having something so grandiose after Where Eagles Dare, which was an absolute just bluff, like just a total gobsmack. And then they followed up with like one of their most epic tunes ever. It's just like, holy shits, where is this album going? And I don't want it to stop. Like it just keeps getting better and better and better. And while I mean the source material is cliched, like it's from, you know, the Bible and stuff like that, I think they did a really good job with like the, you know, introducing the theology into the landscape and just playing around with it. And ultimately it's just a great song, well written, structure wise, and yeah, I mean, even though I love Children of the Damned, Revelations for me, it's just the better song.
All right. All right. Wildcard. Your
So
take.
Children of the Damned, I absolutely love that chorus. But Revelations is always a song I come back to on account of just how epic it is. You know, I always think of that line, no storm or heavy weather, you know, like that sticks in my head. Just a line. And it's I don't know, I'm way more into, you know, I kind of like the pre-chorus and that da-na-na, da-na-na. Yeah, I don't know. That's the song is really epic to me. And there again, you know, not to take away from Children of the Damned, because that chorus is really good. That's a chorus that I love to sing along to. I just find myself favoring Revelations on account of just how it sounds. And it may there again, it may just be a, you know, change in writing style for them, and maybe thinking out parts a little more, you know, getting away from the punkish kind of stuff and getting more into, you know, well thought out sections and so on and so forth. I prefer Revelations over Children of the Damned. I just I don't know. I like that song. I think there's a lot of epic lines in that song. Uh, whereas the only thing I can come back to with Children of the Damned is the chorus. So that's I favor Revelations.
All right. All right. Chop Top. Your take.
Well, I was almost tempted to do a draw on this, but I got to take a stand.
Yeah,
damn it.
don't you
So-
fucking do a draw.
because these are two of my all-time favorite Maiden songs. I agree with, you know, Children of the Damned is, you know, I love all that stuff like Justin said, you know, and the movies and different things like that and the subject material. The chorus is definitely a highlight. I consider it an epic Maiden song from what it is, especially coming to 82 and Bruce is just introduced to the band. But man, everything everybody said about Revelations. I mean, that I think Vic, you said, you know, da-na-na, da-na-na, and then it kicks into that, you know, the tempo changes, it gets faster and stuff. And there's just so many, I don't know, peaks and valleys throughout that song
Yeah.
musically. And yeah, and the source material, it's just a beautiful song. There's some lines in there, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's just gorgeous. Gives me
Yeah.
goosebumps thinking about it. So, but yeah, it's a classic epic, well deserved, and yeah, wins my vote.
All right. Wow.
Okay. Wow. Look at that. Not
I made a stand, Dread. Yeah.
Dread. Bring it.
So yeah, there are about 3 here that were really, really tough. Well, I agree. I think Revelations is the better song. I think it's more interesting. It's well written. There's something about Children of the Damned that I think it's the emotional side of Children of the Damned. And for me, that's the number one thing that brings me back to songs and music over and over and over is the emotional impact of the song. And Children of the Damned is a more emotionally impactful song for me. So I think, yeah, while maybe it's not as good of a song per se. I think the emotion of it is great. And Bruce's vocals are so stellar, and the ending, that long note at the
Yes.
end is
Oh,
so
yeah.
epic. Gives me goosebumps every time. So I think for me, I'm going to go with Children of the Damned on this one.
Nice. All right. All right. Children of the Dam gets a punch in. These songs were neck and neck for me. I wasn't going to pull a chopped up. Don't worry. I got my picks. So I love the first half of Children of the Damned. All those emotions you're talking about, Dreadbull, I get that.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of good memories for me. A friend of mine in college, I was hanging out in a room and I didn't know she was into metal. And she puts this on. I'm like, oh, this is okay. This is awesome. Because I was the only person I knew who listened to Maiden, in college. Everyone else was listening to college music. I'm like, oh, finally, So I love the first half of the song, and I love Revelations, as well, because they both have those slower parts. They slow things down, the tempo.
Yeah.
I love the way Revelations has been recorded. When they're on the slow parts, you can really hear that ride cymbal. I mean, you could hear that it's a cymbal played. You can hear the china. I mean, I'm listening to those kinds of things. I love that ambient
Right.
sound of the song. For me, where it changes, it's the second half of the song. Once Children of the Dam gets into this kind of that galloping fast guitar part, and then once Revelations gets into its fast part post slowdown, that's where Revelations wins for me, because I just like that. It's more interesting, melodic. It takes me somewhere. But emotionally, I do love Children of the Dam. But as a song, I think that second half is what puts me in the direction for Revelations. So yeah, Revelations wins that one for me as well. Very nice. Very nice. Oh,
All right.
hey,
some clear
first two
winners.
rounds are down. We've got Peace of Mind is coming out swinging. Round 3, we've got The Prisoner versus Flight of Icarus. So round 3, Justin, round 3.
I suppose you want information. Information.
Who are you?
Information.
Are you the new number 2? Number 1? What number are you?
I'm not sure what my number is. Somewhere along the
You're a
lines
free
of
man.
666.
You are
Yeah.
number 6.
Yeah,
I'm a free
man.
bassist.
Yeah, I'm a free bassist. Yeah. Well, like, these records, like, they're so hard to put against each other. So I'll start off with Flight of Icarus. Yeah, it's a great single. It definitely showcases the band at the time, like in 1983, like them being modern. The video is just an awesome cliche of all these metal tropes, like an excess of the 1980s. I just love that they're recording in the Bahamas and just like having a good time. The source material is great. I'm a huge fan of Greek mythology and stuff like that, so hearing them sing about Icarus is really cool. But arguably for me, this track is actually, if we're going to go track by track like we are, I have to say that this is actually the weakest track on Peace of Mind for me personally. Even though it is a great single and stuff, and I love it, it's just the weaker track for me. And headed over to The Prisoner, I mean, it starts off with the great dialogue, the old sci-fi, The Prisoner show there. And then Clive Burr kicks it off with the drums. And I think that the one thing that's arguably noticeable with Peace of Mind and The Number of the Beast is the absence of Clive Burr, because I thought he was actually a very dynamic drummer for the band. So I was actually really sad that he wasn't on that album, but I know that Nico is a kick-ass drummer as well. But I liked Clive's drumming on the first 3 albums. Like, there's no question about it. Like, it just sounded great. It was dynamic. He was so in sync with Steve Harris, and just the song "The Prisoner" overall is like a great chorus, great verses. It just keeps, the momentum is there like the whole time, and the solo section is beautiful. Love the solos on that track. All in all, for me, definitely The Prisoner on Number of the Beast over Flight of Icarus.
All right. Early round 3.
I like Justin's definitive answers.
Comes pitching in. All right, wild card.
And this is, unfortunately, my vote is 100% nostalgia fueled. I side with Icarus on this one just because that song was more prominent in my early Maiden, experience, if you will. And I don't know, it wasn't so much because, I had peace of mind prior to Number of the Beast or anything like that. It's just that that's like a song that me and my friends listen to quite frequently. So it holds a special place to me over The Prisoner. I mean, for me, The Prisoner's only forget, it pales in comparison to Icarus only because of that. So this is kind of an unfair vote for me, but it's the Flight of Icarus for me is just it's a very nostalgic song. So it takes me to a different place than it transports me to a different place than it would most the average listener. So I can't say songwriting wise anything outside of I favor that track just because that track is special to me personally. So sorry, this one's a sucker punch, but I'm slipping it in there, and I'm siding with Flight of Icarus over The Prisoner. I mean, no, I'll never forget the intro to The Prisoner. I can't. Like that's something that me and my friends used to recite. Like it was just randomly would throw that on there. But aside from that, Flight of Icarus was a thing that just was more regularly occurring to me than The Prisoner. So that's gonna pull my. I like the song. I like both songs, but I do like Flight of Icarus more just solely based on that.
All right. All right.
Nice.
Recording that? Did you get recorded, Vic Stone's scorecard?
Yeah. Already put it in.
All right,
You
Chop.
All
Round
right,
three.
well, yeah, I like Flight of Icarus. I probably agree with Justin. For me, it's a good song, but it's one that I think it's more to weaker tracks on Peace of Mind. I find The Prisoner, I just think musically it's more interesting. And I agreed with what Justin said about the drumming in the beginning with Clive Burr coming in, and just that main riff and the soloing is fantastic during that song. I just find it a little bit more interesting, even though I like Greek mythology stuff as well, and all those kind of stories and source material. I just find The Prisoner to be more exciting of a song for me. So mine's going to go to Prisoner.
Right. There we go. Remember the Beast fighting back. All right, Dreadbull.
All right. So yeah, Flight of Icarus, that's the hit single off the album, 3.5 minutes, whatever. So we've talked about this before. One of the things that pulled me into Maiden, Montag, you introduced me to Maiden way back in the day.
You're welcome.
At that time it was thank you. Yeah, big thank you. That was one of the few things I can thank you for. But anyway, like back then it was hair metal. That's what you heard all the time. That's what it was getting
Right.
played. And so bands like Maiden or Judas Priest or Dio, whatever, those were kind of the scary satanic bands, like
Yeah.
those were the ones you heard about weird shit going on. So I was a little scared of those bands, and you started playing Maiden for me, and you started saying, oh, this song's about, mythology, history, and literature, and so that's what started pulling me in. Like these guys were breaking stereotypes that I had in my head about what metal was. I'm like, a song about Greek mythology? What the hell? That these guys are supposed to be singing about Satan all the time, like, or killing babies.
All
I don't know.
time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, in my head, that's what had been built up over the years, when I was young. Those are the narratives you heard all the time. So yeah, Flight of Icarus was one of those early songs. I think we got into Maiden right around the Power Slave era, Live After Death. So I'd listen to that. I would skip past the music and listen to the lyrics and listen to before the music started to grow. And so for me, yeah, The Prisoner is a great song. And again, I think like Revelations and Children of the Damned, I think Prisoner is a better song. But Flight of Icarus was one of those early ones, just like you, Vic, that was as a nostalgia to it. And like, wow, a song about Greek mythology. This is awesome. And even though it's a simpler, more straightforward song,
right,
it's still got a Maiden power to it. And so I think that all those things in totality, I think, is why Flight of Icarus gets the nod for me, even though I'm not 100% sure I think that way, but I got to pick one. So yeah, I'm going to go with Flight of Icarus for me.
I like that ending was real strong.
One.
Well, I got to pick one. So
I mean,
I'm not going to pull a chop top here.
Yeah,
no one wants to do that.
You made me do it.
Twisted my arm here.
Yeah, I'm right with you there, Dreadbull. I mean, Flight of Icarus, when we first saw that video, it was like the first time I think we saw Maiden, in the studio, and
Yeah.
love that the guy in the hood and the eyes coming out at you. Just everything about that video is just
Nico, they
so
blued
wonderful.
his chops.
Yeah,
Remember he talked about that.
yeah.
That was
And
Nico with the blue face.
Ah,
Yeah,
nice.
it's so
nice.
bad. It's
Yeah.
so bad.
They
Yeah,
blew-
it's awesome. But you get to see them like really playing. I'm like, as a drummer, I'm like watching
Yeah.
Nick. I'm like, hey, he's playing this beat. That's kind of cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, and for me, they're both great tracks. They really are. And Prisoner is just a big punch right from the gate. That heavy riff. And what I like so much about Flight of Icarus, and it is that nostalgia, because it's that galloping beat. You got that whole chugging along, which is very much the Maiden trademark. But then the solos. You got the two banks of solos that showcase both Adrian Smith and Dave Murray, and just soar. That last part where Adrian or Dave Murray's just playing that wah, and it's just kind of just hitting its stride right before the band. It's like, oh fuck, it just builds and builds and builds to this crescendo. And yeah, Flight of Icarus just is one of my favorite songs, just because of that last 45 seconds of music still just pushes me up, and I feel it every time I listen to it. So yeah, Flight of Icarus for me.
And that was the tiebreaker. So that round goes to Flight of Icarus, 3-2.
Ooh,
Boy,
look at
Number
that.
of the Beast
So-
is blanked here.
Wow, yeah, Number of the Beast is getting hammered.
Oh,
Yeah.
well.
Wow,
Well, let's see if things turn around for round 4. We've got 22 Acacia Avenue
I
with
think they might.
against Die with Your Boots On. So round 4. And Justin, let's take it. Round 4.
Ding, ding, ding. All
Yeah.
right. Well, yeah, Die With Your Boots On. Fantastic. Quite underappreciated track, I should say. I think that it should definitely get more love from Maiden fans. It's an awesome track. But, I mean, like I said, it's Peace of Mind, and you're putting it against, another classic Maiden track. I mean, Number of the Beast has like all these, what you would associate as the top tier Maiden hits, it's got everything. So I mean, the tracks that aren't showcased from Peace of Mind, that aren't in like the typical hits
Best of
column, I guess. They get overlooked and underappreciated, and Die With Your Boots On is one of those tracks. I love this track, and it was actually for a while one of my kind of go-to tracks from Maiden. I just love again the middle like kind of part where he's kind of wailing Bruce. They died with their boots on. Just so
It's
And then
up
it
there,
goes-
man. That's a high register part too, man. That's like
Yeah.
right there.
and it's just so well executed. I love that, just that part. But then we get over to 22 Acacia Avenue, and this is also a great thing that Maiden does. They kind of have like their tropes and the things that they do. Like they've got Eddie on every album, and in this one, it's a continuation of Charlotte the Harlot. And I think that was a great kind of nod to Paul Di'Anno, like his time in Maiden, and now we're going further with Bruce, so we'll give him the nod with the Charlotte the Harlot reference, and go from there. It's a great track. I think it's a fun track. This is a hard one, to be honest. I didn't do any like kind of like debating or thinking in my head before I sat down this evening, so
Welcome to the club.
it's a really hard choice. But
Draw. No.
I'm not gonna do the this isn't gonna be like a Milgram experiment, where somebody's gonna tell me that it's gonna be the right choice and the person won't get the shot. But I'm gonna have to go, if I have to pick one, both great songs, both tracks that I love, but Die With Your Boots On. That's for me.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Vic Stone.
I think that
Round
both
4.
of these tracks are kind of tongue in cheek. And so if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to pick the one that getting killed is I'm going to be honest. I love Die With Your Boots On over 22 Acacia Avenue. To me, that's a very forgettable track. There's certain lines in there that get me though, like that middle part that's like da-na, da-na. I like that part in 22 Acacia Avenue, and I like they're saying all that crazy stuff like you know, Mo Lester, you know, Mo Lester, baby.
Meet
know,
her,
there's-
mistreat her. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's, I mean, like, and I get it. I think it's pretty great because, in all honesty, that might have been the first time that I personally ran into like a sequel song in heavy metal. I don't think I had seen that. Like the Unforgiven 5 hadn't come out yet, you know, stuff like that. Like, I think that's cool. I love that. And I do love that it's a continuation, but overall to me, it's kind of a throwaway track. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of Charlotte the Harlot in the first place. So when you're going to make a second song about her, I think it's better than Charlotte the Harlot, but I'm
And
going to
it's
go
better
with
than
Die
the
with Your
third
Boots On, man. Die with Your
Charlotte
Boots
song.
On. I remember listening to that being like, what the fuck is a Prussian? You know, they're teaching me stuff, man. But no, that
What's a
song.
boot?
What is a boot? What are they talking about?
That's
these
what
boots?
Canadians ask. What's this a boot?
The trunk of a car.
Justin's down there being like, oh man, why did I do this? But no, so no,
Thanks
I
for
think
having me on
that
the show.
Lose
I'll
my
talk to you
number.
guys later.
okay. Overall, I think Die with Your Boots On is a much superior song to 22 Acacia Avenue. It's
Wrong.
a song about war. It's a faster song. It's just a great song, man. And you know, at the end when he's dying and his throat's dry and he's just wanting some water, it's a great overall story. Whereas we can talk about whores or a cool war, and for me, I went towards the cool war side of things. So I'm
War
more of
over
a
whore?
fan. War over whore, like
are
bros
you-
before hoes. That's what
Hmm.
war over horse. I'm going with Die with Your Boots On. That's I think that's a superior track.
All right. Chop Top.
Oh, I was dreading this one. I'll
Don't
tell you,
pull
this
a
is
Chop.
difficult.
Were you Dreadbull in this one though?
Yeah.
No, I love both tracks. Probably equal measure.
Oh, here comes the draw.
Well, well, I love 22 Acacia Avenue because I think the guitar work is absolutely fucking stellar on that track.
It's good.
I do like that breakdown when they do. He's like abuser, misuse. I
Yeah.
think there's some real interesting stuff and interesting dynamics going on
Yeah.
throughout that. With that said, then you got Die with Your Boots On. That just is everything that you guys already said about it. It's one of the underrated songs in Maiden's catalog for sure. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This sucks.
That's like a quintessential Maiden sound. I feel like Die with Your Boots On. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I
so
agree. I just thought, man.
Here
I'm
comes the
going
Montag Milgram.
22 Acacia Avenue, man. I'm picking
Oh,
one.
wow.
22.
All right. 22.
Wow.
Okay. Look we
Whoa.
go.
I love
throwing
both
a,
of them.
throwing a
I
left.
love, but man, 22 is just, it's a far superior song than Charlotte. Yes, it's a sequel song. I think there's so many musical dynamics going on within that song throughout. Really makes it interesting. Some dark lyrical imagery provided
Yeah.
by the band. And that guitar work is just flat out fucking phenomenal. You look at the tab on that shit and it's just like blows your mind.
Yeah.
So,
Chop Top just takes it to left field. Bam.
Man,
That's
did.
right.
No one saw that
Coming back
thought
coming.
he
with
was
a
gonna
gut
bunt.
punch.
Yeah. We
All
were
right.
expecting the bunt for
That's
that.
right.
He
fade.
laid one down the third baseline.
That's it.
Nice job.
Lucky swing on that one, Chop.
Take it
Oh,
easy,
no
Bo Jackson.
draw, Montag or
Bo
Dreadbull.
Bo
All right,
Jackson.
Dreadbull.
Harassed all the time.
Top hits a dribbler.
It's- They're waiting for it to roll off the line, and it stays fair.
All right. So yeah, I think this is a similar argument for me. Is there between Children of the Damned and Revelations? I think maybe Die with Your Boots On is a slightly better song. But again, 22 Acacia Avenue is that freaking guitar solo when that tempo change happens and that guitar solo kicks in. Oh my God, man! I mean, that's what I listen to music for. Those moments like that. And I love the song overall. I like Die with Your Boots On a lot. I don't love it, but I love 22 Acacia Avenue. It checks every box for me as far as what I like in music. So
You are
yeah,
correct.
for me it was a fairly easy decision. 22 Acacia Avenue wins it.
All right, so
Wow.
we're split,
So
right?
I
Two-
think we are
Yeah,
split.
tied up.
You're
Oh,
once again
I have all the power. Finally.
Power-
Oh boy.
You're like He-Man.
what you've been waiting
That's
for.
right. Yes.
Montag Man.
I'm gonna milk
I have the power.
this. Both songs I think are very different. in their regards. Die with Your Boots On, it's just kind of straightforward. You get that heavy riff. I like the references to the all the prophecy and Nostradamus and all that stuff like that. But I have to agree with Dreadbull that the solo in 22 Acacia Avenue, that slowdown is just, it's amazing. It reminds me a lot of in some ways of the solo in Phantom of the Opera, where it just kind of just slows down, and just the whole tempo of the song changes. And I always liked 22 Acacia Avenue. It has always been one of my favorite songs, even though
You like
I
that
would.
molester line. Oh,
Yeah.
molester, yeah.
chooses horror over war. Yeah.
That's right.
It's a horror over war.
Hey, that's right. Would you rather fuck horror or fuck war? I mean, come on now. There's a shirt.
There's
a shirt.
Yeah, it is a shirt.
That's right.
Everyone's
No
gonna say
wars.
fuck war, not
Wars
horse.
for everybody.
Fuck horse, not. Wait, I don't know.
Yeah,
That went
22
both ways.
22 Acacia Avenue wins it for me. It's the best song about Charlotte, because the next song about Charlotte is From Here to Eternity. And
Oh,
Now see
yeah.
that I was not aware of that.
there's that line, the Beast and Charlotte, they were two of a kind.
Oh, okay.
Heading on the line
Yeah.
from here to eternity. I'm just embarrassed.
had to bring that up.
The
I'm
Charlotte
just-
trilogy just.
I'm just
part
embarrassed.
3.
I'm just hanging my head low for Steve. Come on, man. Come on, Steve. Gotta cut that out.
You had to go there, didn't you? You just
I
had to
did.
go
Hey,
there.
Always makes it awkward. That's
my
right.
tag.
Oh,
look. It's no
man.
hooks in you. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I would much rather listen to Angel and the Gambler on repeat all day than listen to, that third Charlotte track.
Oh,
And most of the
Wow.
Fear of the Dark album.
Wow, man.
Don't you know
Wow,
I can
that's
save you?
bold, man.
Don't you know I can
That's
save
so
you?
bold.
I like
Yeah.
it.
wow. Nice.
Like,
Nice.
Woo,
9
this
minutes
is like
of
this
keyboard.
isn't a boxing match. Now it's a
Yeah,
wrestling
we
match.
are
got,
getting
like,
into
people tag
Slugfest.
teaming in
Now we
here.
got
That's
to
right.
Slugfest the Blaze
Street
album.
Bare
now,
Knuckle
right?
Here he
Round-
comes with the steel chair.
Round 4
No.
goes to number
Justin
of
comes
the
slithering up.
Damn.
Woo! All right. Oh, now we're getting into a match. All right, here we go. Round 5. Ooh,
Well, that was our first win by number.
That's
of the
right.
Beast.
Number of the
Our
Beast
first
is
round.
making a show of it.
Making a show.
Not going
All
down
right,
without a fight.
Here we go. Round 5. We've got Number of the Beast versus the Trooper. All right. So round 5.
Mm.
Justin.
Wow.
Round 5.
Yeah, it's a shame that we don't have like a Jim Ross on here, by the way, just to have somebody like talk out of the side of their mouth. Going, oh my god!
That would be great.
Yeah.
An announcer.
What a real slobberknocker.
Yeah, exactly. And we're getting into that territory now, because right now we've got obviously two of the iconic Maiden
Right.
tracks, the two of the most overplayed
Yes.
tracks in
Correct.
their back catalog, songs they still play today. Arguably essential Maiden listening for any new
Correct.
fan. Like, this is like go to Maiden 101. You've got everything indicative with Maiden in the Trooper, with the gallops, the subject matter, the way that the guitars are just soaring, just everything is at play here. This is typical
Maybe I
Maiden
mixed up my
101.
words. Sorry to cut you off. I think I mixed up my words because I also didn't do my homework prior to this. I'm just trying to recall stuff, and my brain's getting bad these days. So forgive
You were
me
talking
if
about
I-
the Trooper instead
the
of Dive
Prussian,
with the
yeah, I
you
was
were talking about the
yeah.
Trooper,
But I
Dives
still
with
know
Boots
that
on.
with the boots. I
I'm
know
like
what
the
boots are.
thirsty guy with a dry throat. That's a Trooper. Like, no,
Yeah,
it's good. Let
sorry,
it
my
go.
bad. I
Just
still
let
went. That's
it
still my
go.
vote. I'm not
It's
taking that
okay.
vote away. It's still a thing.
It's
My
okay.
bad, though. I should have
No-
listened to this stuff before I came on like a real pro.
Could take 2 minutes to make a little list.
Yeah.
When I asked Justin about this a few months ago, 30 seconds later, here's my list. I'm like, whoa, okay, yeah, easy
We haven't
decisions.
seen in a fucking year, but that's all right. We don't know what we're doing.
Thanks
Yeah.
for bringing Vic back, Justin.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, yeah,
dude,
of
I'm not a
course.
wild card for no reason. I'm sorry
Exactly.
though. Go
Maybe
ahead.
Christian will
Continue,
bring back
Justin.
something
that
really
made me
good.
realize that I was like, shit, that was the wrong song.
Yeah,
Justin,
well,
that
no,
happens.
it's cool. It happens, and it's at least it's still it's with love. We're talking about these albums obviously because we
Right.
worship them. They're an integral part of our adolescence and childhood, and just yeah. But we're getting into territory here where it's really hard to pick a winner. In this instance, I'm not going to do a draw by any means, but like I said, the Trooper is Maiden 101. But I think even though Number the Beast is in terms of like the lyrics and stuff like that, it is a bit cliched, with 666, the number of the beast. I still like that they were doing that. They were pushing the envelope at a time
Right.
where it was not cool to do that. 1982, so that's like Number of the Beast, Venom, Nuns Have No Fun for Merciful Fate. That's just all the right reasons why I got into metal, was to be provocative. And I just love the video as well, with like,
The dancing couple.
the dancing couple. And I think it's Nico McBrain is Beelzebub. He's
I think
in the
you're right.
Beelzebub costume. And yeah, just it's Belial, sitting on the top of like the drum riser. I love the imagery. And it was just, when I saw Maiden doing that in the music video, it's just like, you can imagine at that time, like, they weren't as big as they are now, but like they looked like this humongous
Right.
stadium band. It was like, how are these guys even remotely getting away with this? Singing about Satan and 666, Number the Beast and stuff. Like, this is just crazy. And I love the narration at the beginning. That's brilliant. That was like something that I really enjoyed with Maiden. They always have like these cool narrations. It was like with Number the Beast or the Churchill speech from Live After Death.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. So yeah, for me, without a doubt, even though it's really hard to pick, Number the Beast for me on this one.
All right. All right.
Nice.
Vic, Wildcard Stone.
I really like
Round
that Number
5.
of the Beast song where they sing
Talking about the Mariner.
about when the guy with the albatross.
Yeah.
No, for me it is Number of the Beast. Now both songs are great, and like Justin said, that's I can't say anything. I can't really expand on that. That's exactly how I feel. It's the exact same thing. The Trooper is obviously an iconic Maiden song. I've got the Todd McFarlane figure. That's just that artwork. People think of Maiden, and I almost think that it's the Trooper artwork that they might see first before anything visually. But song for song, Number of the Beast is a superior song. I think it's one of the first Maiden songs that I learned on guitar. It's got the great intro. It's very catchy. Bruce comes in with that fucking crazy scream that's like freakishly long and just raspy and perfect. And my family hates when I do that. If that song's coming on, I'm super loud at that part intentionally. It sounds terrible and it's amazing and everyone hates it and I love it. Just that I do it, not that Bruce is doing it. But no, I think song for song that Number of the Beast is superior to the Trooper. Riff wise, I think it's a fun song. It's a catchy song, but I just think riff for riff, I prefer the riffs that are in Number of the Beast over the riffs that are in the Trooper. So for me, it's Number of the Beast.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, Shop Tom.
Well, I'm going to first start off to say this, that I think maybe there's been a little Iron Maiden fatigue for me over the years with both songs. Like if I go to a
Fair
Maiden
enough.
show, maybe one more even before they hang it up or whatever they're going to do, I don't think I really need to hear either one of those songs.
Yeah.
But that being said, yeah, Trooper's all-time classic, but man, Number of the Beast, Vicky hit it right on the nail right there. That wailing scream right at the beginning. I think it's more interesting subject matter. I like the big middle finger to the music industry in '82 by singing, having the the bravery, the guts to go ahead and do that kind of material.
Right.
But I also like the fact that this was the one that saw them finally hit the market in the U.S. I mean, Killers, I believe, went gold here, but this one actually had some radio airplay, to my understanding, also in '82, and they were packing in arenas and stuff starting on that tour. So until they decided to go headlining, I believe maybe at the tail end of that or in the Peace of Mind tour. But yeah, man, something about Number of the Beast. The video, yeah, it's goofy, it's silly. I guess there's a little nostalgia for me as well. But I think the bass line, it's really catchy, really hooky. And at the end of the day, yeah, my vote's Number of the Beast.
Very nice.
Okay.
Very nice. Okay, Dreadbull.
Yeah, the Trooper is Maiden's sort of hit single formula, even though and that's not a bad thing. They had great hit single songs. They're all great, they're powerful. It's a great song live, but yeah, Number of the Beast is it makes a statement. It's very bold. you know, like you said, Justin, they're, you know, or maybe Vic, you said, you know, they're kind of throwing the middle finger up and saying, you know, they knew this was going to get a lot of attention
That
and
was
a lot
me.
of negative attention.
That was the chop
And,
top.
that wasn't Chop Top.
And,
He doesn't say stuff like that.
Hate hole.
So, but they did it anyway, you know. And I think just overall, it's a better song. It's got more going on, and that scream, you know, right into it is
You never
fantastic.
forget it, do you? You never
No,
forget that.
Yeah.
it's ingrained. It's so good. It was perfect.
Yeah, so I'm totally in agreement with everybody here. Number the Beast on this one.
Yeah, they're both great tracks. This one was one of the more difficult choices for me on this Slugfest because I love both of these songs. And like you, Chop, I think I've got a little bit of Maiden fatigue. Not like Metallica fatigue that I've had for 30 years, but I've heard both of these songs like every time they play, and I'm like, can you play something else? You know, like I've heard it. But, you know, throw up maybe half the new set.
In their defense, the first time they don't play those
Invaders.
songs,
Everyone
people
gets a
are
pissy
gonna
fit.
be super
Right, like-
pissed off. So
Like they did on A Matter of Life and
Right,
Death.
right,
Everyone's
right,
like, but you
right.
didn't play this. And I get it. But like for people who've
But
seen them more than 3 times, it's like,
right.
come on, man.
Guys, I would
You
rather
heard it
go
here,
in-
Maiden. Quit fucking playing those songs.
It's right.
Right. I would rather go in and hear guys like, replace one of them with Children of the Damned or 22 Acacia Avenue, which I've
Right.
seen them how many times, you know, a lot with
Yeah.
Montag, and they have yet to play those. And I'm like, those are fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
you
play
know?
something for your longtime fans, and you know,
Yeah, a little deep
That'll-
cut.
yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
know?
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Let's play Angel and the Gambler 10 times in a row. You know,
Oof.
something like that for
10
Justin.
times in a
That's
row.
right.
The whole
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
whole
the
set.
whole,
And
it's just
you.
90 minutes of Angel and the Gambler.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
hooked to you.
That's an ask.
yeah, Number
That's
of the
an
Beast-
ask.
yeah. Number of the Beast is a complex song. I love the imagery. The video is hysterical. It's just so much entertainment value, and that screams. You cannot go wrong with it. There is something. Again, I'm going with early reaction as the only thing kind of swaying me toward the Trooper here. Only because the bravado of this song, the hugeness of this, the galloping beat. It just I can feel my testicles swell, my scrotum
Ooh.
coming
Ooh.
gorged with
Well.
testosterone when this
Well.
song comes on.
Wait,
I know.
where's your testosterone stored?
Oh, down there.
Whoa.
I
You
know.
can
Yeah,
feel
I
it
need
in
to
his
get that
nose.
surgery done. I need that
The
surgery.
The Trooper,
on.
yeah, it's just something mighty about it. Although I'm kind of tired of hearing the song. I'm recalling back when I'm hearing it on the album and those early times, it's like, oh
Yeah.
fuck, this is an amazing song. This would be one of those songs I would say, if you've never heard Iron Maiden, here's the song to try that, start with. So that's the only reason why I pull from it. I think Number of the Beast is arguably the better song, a more complex song anyway than the Trooper, but there's something still about the emotional pull of the Trooper that initially, as an early Maiden fan, pulled me in that direction. So that's the only reason why I'm giving it to the Trooper. But I think Number of the Beast won this track. Am I right? This round.
Yeah, 4-1.
All right. So now we've got what? 3-2. We've got
Yes.
3-2.
Number of the
Very
Beast
nice. Number of the
clawing
Beast
back.
is creeping up.
Mhm.
All right, so we got round 6. We've got Run to the Hills versus Still Life. Round 6. All right, Justin, Run to the Hills versus Still Life.
Where's all those like crazy woke fans that are canceling everyone? Have they seen this video for Run to the Hills?
Right.
No, they have not.
No, they
have-
don't
have-
watch. They don't
No?
watch old Maiden videos.
No, apparently not. Either way, I'm not a big
Busy with
fan of the
important
music
things.
video. But I can remember that being one of the first Maiden videos that I'd seen, and it was always like I just love that that coming back into the chorus like that, yeah, and Bruce is just like so into it in the video, and he's got like that huge smile on his face. Like, it's like, yeah, okay, Run to the Hills, motherfucker. But that's where the fun ends for me, really. I mean, this is also like a staple in the Iron Maiden live catalog. And like Chop Top says, if I could hear any other track from those earlier records over Run of the Hills, you better believe it, I would. Like play like The Drifter or something.
Fuck yeah.
Sure.
Purgatory would be cool to
Yeah,
hear
right.
live. Stuff like that. Twilight Zone, I would love to hear live. Because Bruce did that when he auditioned for Maiden. He did the Twilight Zone, which is cool. You can find it on on YouTube and stuff. It's actually kind of cool. He did a lot of
Nice.
Killers tracks. But
Someone I
Yeah,
know
for-
might have a copy of that audition. I don't know who, but yes.
but
Does it start with an M? Yeah.
does it start with a Montag?
Does it
Could
start
be.
with a
It
Montag?
rhymes with, right.
It rhymes with Dawn Tag.
That's right. That's right.
Going on to the Still Life.
But I won't.
Yeah, I mean, the Still Life for me, it was like it's one of my favorite tracks off of this album.
Yeah.
I just love the theatrics of it. I love how different it is compared to everything else that Maiden was doing at the time and what they had done after that. Like this is just a very unique track, and yeah, it's one that gets regular rotation for me. I just love this track. So for me, without a doubt, Still Life over the sad old hat that is Run to the Hills.
All right. All right. Wildcard.
I
is your
can't.
take?
I
Round
can't top
6.
that. I can't top that. That's exactly how I feel about it as well. I think Still Life is underappreciated. I fucking love that song. Run to the Hills is great too. Everybody loves Run to the Hills. Yay, whatever, Run to the Hills. We all know the chorus. But I mean, like, it's a fantastic song, whatever. But up against Still Life for me personally, no, Still Life is a great track that no one talks about. And it's not because it's bad. I don't know. Maiden just doesn't play it or something, but it's a terrific song. I like the subject matter. I think that the song's written very well. You know, maybe it's Run to the Hills is a little cookie cutter for me, and it might be. I understand it. I understand its placement on the record. You know, I understand it as a song. You know, I somebody told me that was the first music video for Maiden. Is that the case, or the first single that they got on the radio, or something along those lines? And this was this might have been a random individual on the street that had no clue what they were talking about. But there was something about Run to the Hills that a lot of people, I think that was their first kind of delve into it, so I understand for folks that if that's a nostalgia pull for them, but for me, I prefer Still Life. I think that it's a superior track. So that's my vote is for Still Life.
All right. Excellent. All right, Chop. Round 6 for you.
Back to the Maiden Fatigue, Run to the Hills. Probably never need to hear that song ever again live, if I ever catch them again live. It's made its mark. It's burned in your brain. I do agree with Justin saying how Bruce goes, and gets a real high. That's really interesting. That's cool. But man, Still Life is absolutely, I agree with the other two fellas. It is one of the most underrated deep tracks ever created in Maiden's catalog. And it's a beautiful song, finely constructed. I do believe they did play it on the Peace of Mind tour, but I didn't hear anything else after that.
Right. Yeah. It's not in
They
regular
might have played it on
rotation.
the Seventh Son tour.
Really?
I think. I could be wrong. I know they did The Prisoner. But yeah, I can't remember.
Let's just say it's probably been a significant period of time since the last
it's been
time
a while.
it's been
It's
in their
one you
set
don't
list.
normally gonna hear. That's for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, my vote goes to Still Life. I'm in agreement with the other two guys so far. So
All right. Dreadbull.
Yeah, I
Round
think Run to the
6.
Hills maybe suffers the most from fatigue of any Maiden track out there. I mean, there's a reason it gets played a lot. It's a classic. It's a great Maiden song, but you have to consider the reality of the fatigue that sets in after 30 years of listening to it or more, whatever, however far we are away from it now. And so, yeah, Still Life. I mean, yeah, it's unusual. It's almost a little progressive track just hiding in there amongst all these other, Titanic tracks, and it's so damn good. Never gets the attention it deserves. So yeah, fatigue considered, I also have to go with Still Life.
Okay.
I'd love to hear more of it.
Yes, it's a great track. Very interesting and unusual on this album. The subject matter, and as much as I think Run to the Hills is a fantastic song, and especially on the studio version, that last scream that Bruce does, I mean, it just belts it out. The air raid siren comes to play on that track. I have to agree. Still Life is the one it takes for me. It is interesting. It is still fresh. It feels fresh to me because it is unusual in Maiden's catalog, and it's maybe because it's a rare treat, and because we're all Maiden fans. We've listened to their music for 40 years. We've all heard it, and to hear something that we don't normally hear, it maybe what's the appeal, and this one's like, oh yeah, you have to listen to this album to hear Still Life. You can hear Run of the Hills on every fucking live album they make.
Right.
You know, so that might be part of it. But yeah, Still Life for me as well. So after round six, what is the tally here, Dreadbull?
4 for Peace of Mind and only 2 for Number of the Beast.
All right. Okay,
So-
well, round 7 coming up. We've got Gangland versus Quest for Fire. All right, round 7. Justin, your take, Gangland versus Quest for Fire.
All right, I'll keep this incredibly short. Quest for Fire is the choice. I think Gangland is one of the worst Iron Maiden tracks ever put to tape. It's absolute, just it's abysmal. It's a dumpster fire. Don't go near it. Fans only. Like, I can't stand that song, and we're getting there. Like I said, choice words for Total Eclipse. Why they kept Total Eclipse off the album in favor of Gangland?
Thank you.
That's
That's-
round 8, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. But yes.
But that for me is just like, why?
Mhm.
So while Quest for Fires, it's a good track. It's not one of my favorite tracks, but it's still it's a good track. But put against Gangland, I would listen to anything else. So yeah, that's my pick.
There you go.
Okay, all right. Wild
Nice.
card tracks round 7, Gangland versus Quest for Fire.
If this were Tigers of Pantang's Gangland, then I would be voting for that over all of them.
Or
But
Dream
it's
Theater? Dream Theater's
But it's
version?
not. No,
Gangland?
Tigers of Pantang.
I know. Just throwing it out there too.
version.
But so yeah, no, it's Quest for Fire, and I know that it's a cheesy song. It's so cheesy. There's just I don't know, and it's just a funny song to me. I don't know why, but
Can you not imagine Bruce Dickinson going, "Join the quest for
Yeah.
fire,
Yeah.
discovery of man"?
He's like wearing
I'll sing
he's wearing a
along to it
caveman
like
outfit,
I
or
said,
he's
I'll sing along
He's
to
like
it,
a
but it's
caveman
so-
outfit.
it's such
dressed
a
up as a
very
dinosaur.
Big club over his
yeah
shoulder.
I mean, so like what Justin said, like in this particular matchup, like you're really dealing with the lesser of two evils, I think, and it's going to be Quest for Fire for me. To be honest, I can't even remember Gangland. That's how memorable it is for me. I don't remember
It's
what
about
it
a
even
guy whose
sounds
throat
like.
is dry and he's in a war.
Yeah, with the albatross, right?
Yeah, right.
He's in a war with the
With the
albatross.
albatross, right.
Yeah.
And where
Okay.
Because
where
it's so
it flies too
forgettable.
close to the sun and sets himself. Yeah.
Yeah, and there
Exactly.
was something about a Wicker Man. Okay, that's we're good.
Yeah, things are burning over here, and I think
Big
that
wicker
the Quest
energy.
the Quest of Fire should be me looking for whatever I can to set Gangland on fire.
Burn it. Burn it.
How do we burn this
Burn
music?
it to the ground.
Yeah, no, it's Quest for Fire.
All right, okay. Chop Top, round 7 to you. Gangland, Quest for Fire.
Quest for Fire. Even though, I mean, yeah, Gangland's it's a dumpster fire. But Quest for Fire itself, even though the silly kind of lyricism and that kind of bouncy, only show tune kind of vocals
Yeah.
with Bruce and everything, I do think that overall, musically it's just a little bit better. Gangland's got this kind of weird swing to it, just really never gets itself off the ground. It doesn't sound really anything familiar or fits really right in with the rest of Number of the Beast albums. So, but I think Quest for Fire, it's still one of my weaker tracks on Peace of Mind. I got to go with that because, yeah, Gangland's just forgettable. So,
Okay. All right. Dreadbull, I think I know how you're going to go on this, but let's hear it anyway.
Yeah, this was one of my choices for one of our earlier episodes, our Sore Thumb episode for Gangland being the sore thumb of Number of the Beast album. Awful track, does not fit, should not be there, doesn't belong, doesn't deserve to be there. Yeah, it sucks. I liked, or was it our cover tunes? Because I picked Dream Theater's cover of
we
Gangland,
talked about it twice.
which I really love because they completely changed it. And they made it into a bluesy sort of
Swing.
swing, yeah, like a
lounge.
lounge song for good reason. So yeah, totally agree. Gangland sucks. I like Quest for Fire though. Actually, it is kind of cheesy.
You're joining the quest.
I enjoy that song. So
In a time before
dinosaurs walk the earth.
I have
Put
friends
swing to
in
that.
Michigan
Make that a
that's
lounge
the
number,
only
right?
line they would sing when they would sing Quest for Fire. They would just sing "In a time when dinosaurs walk the earth" just over and over again, which made the
See,
song
it's catchy.
incredibly. That might be why I like Quest for Fire, is just because I remember them doing that just over and over again.
Well, I would say just someone needs to read a history book and to see when the dinosaurs were around and when people were around. There's like 100 million years or more between those two.
Hey man, you joining the Quest for Fire or what?
No, man, I hate Quest for Fire.
Dude, it's a
hate-
classic Steve Harris song.
hate's a strong word. It's no Angel and the Gambler. I'll give you that.
I mean,
It's just a weak track. I mean, Bruce hits that real high note, but it's just so silly. Like
It
and I know,
is.
and it's based off the movie, and the movie was awful.
Oh,
And I'm like, oh, really? This is what we're gonna talk about? Fucking dinosaurs and people walking around. If it would have been a cool song about that, I'd been fine. But like, no. Now I don't mind Gangland nearly as much as everyone else here. It's not one of my favorite tracks on it. But I'm used to being wrong. I get it. But I certainly don't mind that. My votes goes for Gangland. So shut up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
Wow.
God, I can't believe how bad you suck.
Yeah.
All
He
right.
still beat it out though, so whatever. Your vote doesn't count, sir.
Awful.
Well, I think Montag just put a hit out himself. So it's definitely not.
Yeah.
It's not Gangland. It's Ohio. Murders up
That's
for
right.
sale.
Some
Lock your
diehard
doors,
Maiden fans.
Montag.
That's right. We're coming for you. Quest for Fire style. We gotta get our
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
we're gonna bring
We're
gonna
riding our
bring some
dinosaurs
torches.
over.
Torches.
That's right.
we're gonna
to
bring
Montag's
torches
house.
with the fucking fire that we quested for.
That's right.
When
We're
we
gonna
get it,
battle with
when we
stick
find
and
it,
stone, motherfucker. Yeah, you're in for it
right.
now.
we'll beat you with clubs.
That's right. Okay, so after
Oh.
7 rounds, what's the score here? Dreadbull?
Yeah, it's already a done deal. We have 5 rounds go to Peace of Mind and only 2 to Number of the Beast. So
well,
Number of the Beast cannot win this fight.
No, well, that's
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of
They
They
can make it
anticlimactic.
respectable, but they cannot win.
That's right. Well, so let's talk about some respect. Let's go track 8. We have Total Eclipse versus Sun and Steel.
No. We have Hallowed Be Thy Name.
No. Track 8.
Track 8 is Total Eclipse?
Yes.
We're doing
At least in the
we're doing
version I have.
extended version.
Okay.
In the
I thought
extended version,
Total
track
Eclipse
8
was added
Did
to
you
the
not
end.
read
Gotcha.
the note I put in our communications?
I did.
sheet?
I just had the track, those
I
2
did,
tracks
yeah.
swapped.
Track 8
So, not a
is
problem.
Yeah, now you're as
That's it.
bad as me. Why don't you just talk about some Prussians in the wrong song?
That's right. I
Mon-
thought you said
Montag-
impressions. My impressions of this song was this. I'm like,
I thought
okay.
it was a bonus track on the end. Sorry.
No, it's-
Montag, to be fair, he was on a quest with us other guys trying
That's
to
right.
find cool Maiden songs.
That's right. I couldn't find him
We're
there.
looking for fire.
Thank you, Justin.
Bro.
So
Justin
this
with
is
the save.
Total
Okay.
Eclipse versus
My
Sun and
apologies.
Steel. It's all right. It's all right. We've done this show a long time. We've been friends for a long time. We know how each other screw up. Track 8, Total Eclipse, Sun and Steel. Justin, take it.
This one for me is it's a no-brainer. It's Total Eclipse, hands down. No ifs, ands, or buts. I think that, like I said earlier, the fact that they left Total Eclipse off Number of the Beast in favor of Ganglands is just a total just what were you fucking thinking? I do like the Lewis what's his name? The Lewis Black, you gotta put this one, and then they had this great song, Total Eclipse, and they fucking put Gangland on the record. You know, it's just why did you do that? It's just beyond me. I think Total Eclipse is just this great atmospheric dark track. It has a really nice build up in the beginning, and just the chorus is brilliant. The sunrise is cold. It's so good. And then the middle part where he goes up into this really high register, it's goosebump inducing. It's just a really, really awesome track. And I'm just, again, totally blown away that they decided and opted to leave that out.
Absolutely.
Over to Sun and Steel. It's a good track. It's catchy. But this for me, it's like we're going song for song. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Sun and Steel, but yeah, compared to Total Eclipse, it's totally eclipsed.
Of the heart. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. So my pick is Total Eclipse.
All right. Excellent. Okay, Wildcard.
it has been probably a decade or more since I listened to Total Eclipse because I don't have it on anything besides this singles CD. I don't remember being particularly fond of the track. What I recall of it was was that not a Paul Di'Anno track originally? Or was that written with him? And
I thought it was just with Dickinson and that. I didn't think it was with Di'Anno at any time, but
I don't think it's an
I swear that
original
they
Di'Anno.
wrote that 4 Killers and they just didn't use it. Is that not accurate? Somebody
could
get
be
on the internet and find this out. Somebody
You're
sleuth
supposed to
this.
know
Somebody ask
shit,
the
man. Come
internet.
on.
I don't know, man.
sleuth it.
Anyways, I do remember not really thinking much of the track. Like now, maybe that's because I don't have it in its correct setting. You know, if it was supposed to be on Number of the Beast, it might have stuck out more to me there. Whereas this hodgepodge of singles that has like women in uniform and all kinds of weird shit in it, like Cross-Eyed Mary and stuff like that. I just don't remember it being a song that really stuck out to me. Sunlight and Steel, I fucking love that song. I love that chorus. Again, I like the lyrical matter. And you know, I listened to that song about 500 times more than I listened to Total Eclipse, so it's going to get my vote probably more so just because of familiarity. I should go back and listen to Total Eclipse. I might feel differently about it now, but like I said, given the setting that I had it in, I had access to it on this bootleg. So to me, it wasn't a song that really stuck out amongst the others. Women in Uniform is probably my favorite song on this bootleg. I fucking love that track.
I love that track.
So it's so
Totally.
good. And it sticks out to me. You know, I don't know if there's anything else even on here that really does. There's a lot of weird songs on here.
Oh, they have to have Cross-Eyed Mary on there, the cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
No,
all.
it's totally
King
on
of
here.
Twilight.
Yeah, that's on here.
Yeah,
You've
I like King of
got
Twilight.
you have to have the Soundhouse tapes on there. So you have like Invasion.
Let's see. It's gonna give a real bad font also that they used. I'm a Mover's on here.
That's a good track.
Huh.
I got the Fire.
Oh yeah.
That
Very
girl's
cool.
on here. I mean, it was weird, and of course I was buying it. It's Iron Maiden, and it was like $2.50. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting that. And
Is Steve Harris's first track that he ever wrote on there?
which
Burning
is
Ambition?
yeah, it's the first
Oh.
track. It's the Burning
Yep.
Ambitions on here. So it's an interesting collection. So Total Eclipse being on there was kind of weird to me. And I don't know. It just didn't stick out to me. I feel like yes, it more than like I believe everyone's assessment of it being a better track than Gangland. Yes, I would probably agree with that 100% if I could recall what Gangland sounded like. Maybe it's just a defense mechanism. It's so bad that I can't
You ever think
remember.
maybe doing like 2 minutes of homework before you come on the show, man?
Nah,
Is that too much to ask?
It's
just effort.
I have to read a
He's
citation here.
Wildcard.
Okay,
Tim-
citation.
So here we go. We asked about the history behind Total Eclipse. Now
Yeah.
this is taken from quotes and citations and included on the Wikipedia. So I'm not 100% into Wikipedia, but this seems to be the overall consensus to what I knew. So
Okay.
as they had written too much material, they had to choose between Total Eclipse and Gangland
Okay.
for the Run of the Hills B-side, with the understanding that the other song would appear on the album. Several band members have since expressed regret over this decision, with Steve Harris commenting, "We just chose the wrong track as the B-side. I think if Total Eclipse had been on the album instead of Gangland, it would have been far better." On top of this, Harris has stated that the record's opening track, Invaders, was not good enough, commenting that it could have been replaced with something a bit better, only we didn't have anything else to replace it with at the time. We had just enough time to do what we did, and that was it. Total Eclipse was added to the 1998 CD reissue, which I have,
Okay.
and it replaced Gangland on the 2022 40th anniversary reissue vinyl.
Nice.
Wow, that is some hate right there,
All right.
man.
There you go. So
Wow.
some,
Now,
Yeah, fair enough.
some nerdage.
I bet Dreadbull, if I think we had mentioned this before, had Gangland came out as a B-side, you probably would have liked it more if Total Eclipse were on.
I
Number of the
think
Beast.
so. Yeah, as
Yeah.
just an extra bonus material. Like, okay, more extra music that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
Right.
You're much more open to accepting.
Yeah,
it,
I
you
think
know, 'cause
I
it's
think
just
that see,
bonus.
because the version I have doesn't have, I have one of those with the picture on the spine. So my Number of the Beast didn't include that. It has a couple bonus tracks, but that's it. And they're not Total Eclipse. If I could have heard it in like the 2022 edition where it actually supposed to set, it might actually make a huge difference, So now for me, it's Sunlight Steel.
Yeah, imagine that
So-
album with Total Eclipse in place of
Right.
Gangland. Holy shit, man.
Would have been a great album. But
Yeah.
I think that
Great
one
album
thing that
anyway.
we have to. I'm sorry that I didn't mean to cut into your time here or chop into your time there, Chop Top. But just
You're forgiven.
Please
little bit
do.
of love, a little bit of love for Gangland. I have to say that Clive Burr's drumming on the track is really good.
That is
Mhm.
that is a saving
Yeah.
grace for it. But anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Anyways.
good stuff about Gangland, but yeah.
So Sun
not
and Steel
enough.
for Wildcard.
All right, Chop, round 8, Total Eclipse and Son of Steel.
Say it's Total Eclipse for me. Period. Everything everybody said, as far as Justin said, I can't think of Wildcard has to do his homework, but that's okay. We'll forgive him.
Yeah,
It's been a while since he's been back on. But no,
for good
no, I think
reason.
as much as I love Sun and Steel,
You got an
I
F
just love that
plus.
chorus as well. Man, I
You
love
failed
Total
really
Eclipse.
well.
I love Total Eclipse that much more. And just imagining to hear that on the original pressing of Number of the Beast, I think that really puts that album in another category. I mean, it is a classic album, but you put that song in there and place the Gangland, we're in a whole nother territory. So yeah, it goes to Total Eclipse.
All right. Dreadbull.
Yeah, I think the first time I heard Total Eclipse was on the Beast Over Hammersmith live album, and damn, that's a good version.
Mhm.
That is a really good version. There's some great versions.
Wait,
of
is that in the box set?
That was the 12
80s
Wasted
Archives?
Years, Dreadbull. I think when we watched that video, because that at least I
Well, that
remember.
was a studio version of it, but I think
I remember the live. It was the Number of the Beast tour
Oh, okay.
when they played it. I remember Bruce saying, "Here's a song called Total Eclipse," and we were like, "What?
Yeah.
Total Eclipse? What is that?"
Yeah, it's also is that Beast Over Hammersmith, right?
It might have been
I
from
think
that.
that was
from
the
that.
last track
Yeah,
on disc
I think
one.
that's right.
But yeah, great version of that. That whole album had some great versions
Yeah.
of like the early Maiden stuff too.
Oh yeah, opening with Murders in the Rue Morgue.
But
Oh.
yeah, so the only
Okay.
thing that really makes Sun and Steel give it any hope at all is like the teenage Dungeons and Dragons player in me that
Mhm.
loved that track. Back in the day, hey, it's about a guy with a sword. Like for the
We-
longest, I
we
thought
thought it
this
was
was about Conan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we thought it was about Conan.
Mhm.
Like, so that's
it
a
made
great
sense
song,
because we were both reading Conan, all the Robert E. Howard stuff at the time. Like, yeah,
Right.
he killed his first man 13. This could be about Conan.
Right,
Right,
exactly.
right.
So I like that track for that reason. So but yeah, Total Eclipse, fantastic song. One of my favorite Maiden songs. So I think for that reason, yeah, it beats out Sun and Steel. And it's not about Conan, unfortunately. I think
No,
it's a
samurai.
Japanese
Yeah, it's a
samurai.
samurai guy. Right. That being aside, then yeah, I agree. Total Eclipse wins this one for me as well. It's just a great song, and I still have the fondness of our thinking that it was about Conan. I was like to still think it's about Conan, but those just being teenagers again, But
Yep.
Total Eclipse is just a great song. It just a fantastic song. So I'll keep it short and sweet. All right. We are at the final track 9 with 2 epics.
Woo.
Hallowed be thy name and To Tame a Land. Okay, round 9. All right, Justin, take it
We
away.
can get this Conan inspired, so it's like the two tracks going at like head and head in the Colosseum, like in the Conan movie, and he's going
Get to the chopper.
So yeah, he's going like and the really bad music's going in the background. So
Get
yeah,
down. Yeah.
That must be Conan the Destroyer.
yeah, that's the first Conan movie. So like
Oh,
when
yeah,
he's
right.
One of the
fighting, like,
barbarian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like when he fought the big snake because it was
Yeah,
so
it was like-
cold. The blood was mixed in with vodka, and so they were all drinking the blood and getting drunk because the
That's
blood
amazing.
wouldn't freeze that way.
That's how I would drink blood.
With vodka.
If I were gonna drink blood,
That's the
I'd
new
get
Sorcerer
vodka.
album, Blood Vodka.
So
There you
it's
go.
like, so are we gonna drink blood tonight? He's like, yeah, but you have to crush your enemies. Consider before you. Hear the meditation of the demon.
This drink is called the Chopper.
This is called a chopper.
Get that.
No, but anyways, back to the
Get to it.
initial task at hand here. Yeah, hallowed be thy name. It was when I heard it the first time when I was a kid, it was like awe-inspiring, just like a jaw-dropping, amazing track. Emotional, the vibe of the track, the musicianship of the track. It is totally just an unforgettable masterpiece of a track. I love that track. I don't care how overplayed it is. That's one track that they're not allowed to leave out of their live set.
Yeah, you have
The
to.
only thing that I wish they would do live, slow it down. So that way Bruce can enunciate and actually sing the words that he was meant to sing. But it's a fantastic song. The solos on it are amazing. The bass is just like, that was one of the first tunes I learned on the bass. It was just, I have to learn that track. It's just such a awesome, just powerful track. Tame Land. Yeah, this is epic. And when I heard this one as well, it was the same thing. Like it was just the theatrics of it. It was the way that it built, the twists and turns, just the singing on it was really good. It was just it's almost like Still Life. Like these two tracks for me are like the underappreciated Maiden tracks in their entire back catalog.
Mhm.
And there's a few on like Power Slave and Somewhere in Time as well that are just brilliant. And these two from Peace of Mind are absolutely criminally underrated, and I never understood why because they're fantastic tracks. And even though I love Hallowed Be Thy Name, it's a near and dear to my heart. To Attain Land for me takes the win. I just love the way it's written. I love the epicness of it. Just everything about it ticks all my boxes as a music fan.
All right. Okay.
Nice.
Yes, very nice. All right, Wildcard. Track 9 for you. Hallowed be thy name. Taping to Tame a Land.
What is best in life? Hallowed be thy name is the single greatest heavy metal song ever written in the history of heavy metal. It will always forever be my all-time favorite heavy metal song because it ticks all of the boxes for me. Much like Justin, that was one of the first songs I learned on guitar. And it was very fun for me because there were so many little licks and little riffs and all the harmonies, all the vocal harmonies. It's singularly the greatest heavy metal song. That's the song I believe you guys might have been like, aliens came and you gotta have songs and tell them about metal. And that was one of my songs. If it was probably my first song. That song is probably it's my all-time favorite heavy metal track. And To Tame a Land is a great song and it sits very well on Peace of Mind. But for me, you can't put it up against nothing in the Maiden catalog touches Hallowed Be Thy Name. That's a desert island song for me. That song is perfection. Everyone strives to write Hallowed Be Thy Name when they're writing metal, even black metal guys. So it's Hallowed Be Thy Name.
Very
It's
nice.
Hallowed Be Thy Name. I really like Hallowed Be Thy Name, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure that one out. We'll get it one day.
Votes
Try
are
to
in.
be
We're
more
counting them right
decisive.
now.
Okay, Chop Top.
Well, here's another case of where song fatigue comes in with how. But here's the thing: is Justin said it, Vic, you said it. It is damn near perfection, and you cannot leave this out of their live set even to this day. This is a perfect heavy metal song, so I don't get burned out with it. And To Tame a Land, it's another one, and I agree with Justin on that album. Two of the most underrated Maiden songs, possibly in their entire back catalog, with Still Life. So, and that's epic in its own sense. Maiden was going on. I mean, when they started, I think the very first epic might have been Phantom of the Opera off the self-titled, right? But I think it really showed, what a few years does. Additional adding Bruce as a singer. My God, his vocal lines in there, his singing is so fucking powerful. There's so many emotions. There's so many ebbs and flows in that song throughout. I just think Hallowed Be Thy Name well deservedly belongs to stand at the top. So, yeah, as much as I love To Tame a Land, and I do love the subject material about Dune and all that, got to go with Hallowed Be Thy Name for the imagery that it leaves you lyrically with, all the different emotional way it flows and everything throughout. And yeah, it's a staple song and well deserves to be one in metal's history forever. So, yep, Hallowed Be Thy Name.
All right, Chop Top. Dreadbull, your track 9.
Yeah, what can I really add? Hallowed Be Thy Name to me is one of the few fatigue-proof songs. I've never gotten tired of it, and they play it just as much as anything else. One of the all-time great classic Maiden songs. The nerd in me loves To Tame a Land. I mean, that was another one in the early days of listening to Maiden. Like, holy shit, they wrote a song about Dune. I love these guys. Like they were breaking down every stereotype I ever had of heavy metal at the time. So there's a lot of nostalgia, and it's a great song. I mean, that slow intro, the guitar riffs when those kick in, it's just like some stank face gets going. You gotta love it. But Hallowed Be Thy Name is a titan amongst heavy metal songs. So I don't know what Maiden has that could ever that could top Hallowed Be Thy Name. That's a tough one to ask. So yeah, To Tame a Land would beat many songs off of Number of the Beast, I think, but not Hallowed Be Thy Name. So yeah, I agree. We got to go with Hallowed here.
And not to mention, like, let's point out also the fact that was no one said it yet. That's the closer.
Mhm.
And a great closer.
I mean,
yeah.
like,
Hell-
yeah,
hell of
like
a
you're gonna
closer.
end an album with the greatest heavy metal song ever written. That's one of the things that makes Number of the Beast Number of the Beast. That closer. So I wanted to add that.
Agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
both great closing tracks. I love Hallowed Be Thy Name. I actually prefer it a little bit faster. I think the version on the album, even though you can hear Bruce articulate every lyric, I think there's something that when the music is a little slower, some of the intensity is lost. Unlike Flight of Icarus, which I think that intentional slowed down adds the tension to the song, and I think that's what makes it great. I think that song sounds worse played fast, like they do live. Like, no, keep it slow. Hallowed Be Thy Name, I think sounds a little better played a little bit faster. There's an energy to this song that carries and just relentless. I agree with you, Dread. The nerd in me, because I love Frank Herbert. I love Dune, and Team of Lamb was like, oh fuck. When you didn't think Maiden could get any cooler, they're writing about fucking Dune. Are you serious? So this was just like cemented Maiden as far as the band for me, in those formative years, and this was close. I mean, emotionally, I still love To Tame a Land only because Hallowed Be Thy Name, as good as it is, maybe it's just general fatigue. I have heard it a lot. I've heard it
Mm.
every time I've seen them. I could do another song. I'd rather hear To Tame a Land live, just because a new song hearing it live.
I mean, that's
But
fair.
song to song, Hallowed Be Thy Name is the better song. It really is. It doesn't let up. There are no weak parts. I mean, second half of To Tame a Land is this great musical interlude, but it doesn't build, like To Tame a Land. I want to give, Hallowed Be Thy Name. I want to give To Tame a Land the victory, because of the subject matter, but Hallowed Be Thy Name is the victor here. And it's just such a great song on every level, and it doesn't get old. And that I've heard it enough for a while, but when I hear it, I'm like, okay,
bother.
yeah, that's right. That's why I like this song. That's why I like this band. So just familiarity breeds contempt, I guess, when you hear it enough. So there's my track, Hallowed Be Thy Name, for round 9. And so Dreadbull, here's the final bell. We have a winner, clear winner.
By the narrowest of margins. Yes, Peace of Mind wins it 5 rounds to 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always
Incredible.
felt, I mean, like if people ask, because these two albums, this isn't like even the first time that I've discussed this amongst friends and such. And I'd always say, Hallowed Be Thy Name is probably the best song out of the 2 records. It's my favorite Maiden track, but Peace of Mind is probably their best album. I feel like that is their best release. And I mean, I've seen other people say that too, so I don't feel so stupid. Like even like elitist type folks that are like, "This is the best of Maiden album." I'm like, "Oh, I don't feel dumb now." But I mean, like, because you wouldn't think that. You would think that Number of the Beast seemed to be like more discussed, maybe. When people talk about Maiden, they talk about Number of the Beast. I think
Probably
more
because the
than they talk about.
controversy.
Well,
Yeah,
it's not-
potentially
I mean,
just the
it
timing
fueled
of
it.
the record and the imagery and
Yeah.
the lyric, some of the lyrical content. And it was, I feel like people think of that album more, but I've always felt that, once I started digging into it more, I always felt more drawn to Peace of Mind. Like, I'm going to
Yeah.
throw this on,
I
this is going
agree.
to be the one I listen to.
One of my favorite albums of all time, Peace of Mind. The
Yeah.
only album I like better than Maiden is Seventh Son, only because to me they were pushing their musical boundaries.
Mm.
It was kind of like hearing And Justice for All. Yeah,
Okay.
well, I'd like to hear some bass with it. Compared to Master of Puppets. Master of Puppets is the raw, big sounding album, but as a musician in me likes to hear And Justice for All because it's a little more complicated, a little more involved. They've evolved as musicians, and that's to me where Seventh Son takes over. Peace of
Yeah.
Mind. But as far as raw Maiden energy, nothing surpasses Peace of Mind. I mean, it just fucking balls to the wall.
Yeah, I think Number of the Beast is like a more classic Maiden album, but Peace of Mind is like Maiden refined to perfection. The
Yeah.
production qualities of that album are so damn good, are perfect. Everything about that album sounds perfect. It's just them, refined to an absolute razor's edge.
I discussed these at length on my Facebook. I did reviews. I did their entire back catalog, Maiden, because I'm a huge Maiden fan. Maiden's quite possibly beside Black Sabbath, my favorite metal band ever. You know, when you're discussing these records, like if you're looking at Peace of Mind, I think when you're going into like the Birch years, Martin
Yeah.
Birch, who was producing and stuff like that. So you've got those three, like the trifecta in the 80s. It was Peace of Mind, Power Slave, and Somewhere in Time for me. Those three albums are 10 out of 10 albums every day of the week. You can't deny that. That's just like, even the bad songs on those albums are good.
Right.
So, I mean, you know, I felt that Seventh Son was where they kind of lost in quality, just because there was a few slips and stuff like that while they were being a bit more over the top and really kind of playing with their creativity. A lot of like production mishaps, if you will, were allowed onto the record. Like Bruce does not sound on par on that album, Seventh Son of the Seventh Son, as he did on the previous album, Somewhere in Time, which personally I think that that's their best album. That's like pinnacle Maiden. Like everything there is just like top notch. That's like everything's turned up to 11. That's them at their peak. And then you look at Number of the Beast, you know, it has the bad luck of being positioned between two awesome albums. And by all rights, this album should have been awesome as well. Like as awesome as Peace of Mind and as awesome as Killers. But it's a bridge record, you know,
Right.
new singer, new sound. As soon as you change singers, it's a totally different ball game. So you went from like the rough and gruff Paul Diano, like punk, like new album way to like this slightly more progressive, really like you know, different registers of singing and stuff like that. It was a bit, I think, too much. And while we have like a myriad of hits here, I think that's what they achieved on Peace of Mind is really what, you know, that was them utilizing Bruce Dickinson. They're all the right ways. Like they didn't have time to use him in that way on Number of the Beast. It was like, shit, we need a singer. We need to go out on the road. Paul's not doing it. We got to go.
Yeah,
So
fair enough. So you
that-
feel like it's a little that Number of the Beast potentially suffered from being what may or may not have been a little rushed.
Well, I think that Number of the Beast in itself, like if we look at Hallowed Be Thy Name, if I was to go like just look at that record as a whole, I think the two strongest songs are Hallowed Be Thy Name and Total Eclipse, like we had discussed. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it's not really like when you listen to it now, after you've listened to Maiden, you know, over the years, and you go back to Number of the Beast, it's not really all that. Like when you listen to it, you're like, huh, you know, I'm missing a bit of that vibe. It could be like that fatigue that's kicked in over the years.
Right.
They overplay,
Have
run
that
the
same
hills.
feeling like when we first listened to it. And I like what you said, Justin, about being a bridge record, you know, between Killers, and it really is the truth. Almost seems like you go back now, maybe that was a little rushed. Maybe that, you know, even the band said they wish they would have put Total Eclipse on there instead of Gangland originally, like you looked up that stuff and Steve Harris's comments. So yeah, you made a really good point on that. And it seems like very refined. Writing was even tighter. Everything came together on the Peace of Mind going forward. Well, for a while. So
that's I feel like that's kind of par for the course when you do switch a singer in particular. Maybe not so much other, you know, members. So, you know, sometimes drummers and guitars can bring different flares.
Well, I think
Peace of Mind. No, Nico's drums really changed the sound of Maiden as well.
That's
but they were evolving musically, and that's one of the reasons why Paul Diano's voice wasn't working with the new songs.
Right.
You know, like Bruce's vocal styles fit the new style better. So I know that there was But
if you listen to like Clive Burr recording or playing live Hallowed Be Thy Name in comparison to Nick and McBrain, it's a totally different vibe, totally different feel. Like and I think that had Nico recorded that track, it wouldn't have been as
that could very well be. Yeah, if you change one element of that track on that album, that can change the whole thing.
You can hear some like nice little hi-hat chips and things like that. He did a lot of hi-hat work that was kind of subtle that you don't often hear.
even his snare, like his snare fills and stuff like that were really cool. Like especially like going into like the last little, the melody solo there, that like when he does like that, like just
He
like that.
mirrors it on the snare. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just like Nico would have done something on the toms.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Clive was like, he's just riding that snare, and it's just exactly what you needed.
Right.
Like, just slowly building it up, the intensity, and then
Yeah, nothing against Clive Burr as a drummer. I just think he's a different drummer than
I
Nico
thought
is.
he had more bombast. He was more powerful, maybe, in his presentation.
Yeah.
He dealt with simpler, more than what Nico had to deal with. And like Justin made a good point, where Clive would do the one part like that. Nico would use the toms more throughout that.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's just, you can hear like the power in the studio with Clive. You're just like, man, he's.
I think
powerful.
Clive would have transitioned fine into the future catalog. I don't think Paul Di'Anno would have transitioned well into the future catalog.
Agreed.
I'm wholly behind that. And I mean, I know they had their reasons for, getting Bruce, but obviously we all know that was the correct choice. I know there's folks out there that are like, no, man, only Iron Maiden and Killers. The rest of it's trash. I can't get behind that, man. I like Paul Di'Anno and I like his work on Killers and self-title, but Bruce Dickinson's the better vocalist here.
Yeah.
The man's absolutely fantastic. He still sounds fantastic.
He fits Maiden perfectly.
Yeah, and
He's
I
just a
can't.
perfect
I don't
fit.
think Paul Di'Anno. I mean, and we have to use what we have. We know what Paul Di'Anno is capable of now. He wouldn't be able to do any of that stuff, and he doesn't have the energy that Bruce Dickinson has. I want that energy, and I'm like half his age.
BD
Like,
energy. Bruce Dickinson energy.
Bruce Dickinson energy. That's what I want. I mean, that guy is fantastic. He's one of the absolute best showmen in heavy metal. And we wouldn't have that if Paul Di'Anno were still fronting that band. We'd have just a tired guy doing this a lot and sweating. That's what we'd have.
I mean, you still have like a better singer or a better frontman in Blaze Bailey than you have with Paul Di'Anno.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong here.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm not gonna say like that Blaze Bailey, recreated the wheel or anything like that, in Maiden, because a lot of the stuff that he did was absolute fright. But there's a few gems there, like Lord of the Flies is brilliant. That track is awesome, and that's where the repetitive song structure really kind of is a saving grace.
Yeah.
Sign of the Cross scared the hell out of me when I heard it the first time, because I wasn't expecting that volume change in the beginning, and the way that he came in, like
yeah, but there's that little sour note. Simon again, like ooh, okay,
and then
it's a great track. Great track.
It was just like this quiet stuff. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? And then I turn it up and then you fucking bastard. Jesus.
You fucking bastard.
So,
you scared me, Iron Maiden.
You scared the shit out of me. It's a good thing you didn't hear that fucking ripper I just did right now. Jesus, my Fruit of the Looms are sour. I think I touched cloth on that one. That's a sign of my cross.
Oh, man.
But either way, he's a better frontman than Paul Di'Anno, and people give him a lot of flack. But if you listen to his stuff in like Wolfsbane and stuff like that, he's actually a really good singer. Like, as long as the music's written in the confines of his register.
Right.
Maiden's not like that. Like, they were writing.
That was a very honest choice.
I'll never.
All the singers. We've always talked about all the singers they could have choose Blaze Bailey to get.
Yeah, that was kind of silly,
Maiden
man.
could have had anybody. It's Iron Maiden.
Conklin, man, the tyrant from Jag Panzer's who they should have got.
To be fair, they also picked Janik Jers for.
He looks cool as fuck, man. He's a cool
he brought a lot
guy.
of energy. Well, he came on because he was on Bruce's solo tour.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's what I
saw.
saw.
If you listen, like I love No Prayer for the Dying. I love that album. But when you listen to the solos, it's
His
just like
sloppy as fuck. Well, I asked him about that, not being sloppy as fuck. But when I saw them, I met him, and he's a super nice guy. This was on it was No Prayer for the Dying tour, and so I met the guys, and I said, oh yeah, like I saw you on Bruce's solo tour. It was he brings a lot of energy to the stage because Adrian Smith was gone, and I said, well, how long did you have between Bruce's solo tour and Maiden's tour to like learn the material? And he said 3 days, and so that's why all the solos were just Yannick Gers solos and not at all like Adrian Smith, but he's become a really good guitarist over time, still energetic and sloppy and fun, but he's a really good songwriter. He has added a lot to the Maiden
But then I
catalog.
have to contra this then. If the solos were rushed on No Prayer for the Dying, why do his solos sound like shit on Fear of the Dark?
Well, I just think he's a sloppy guitarist. I mean, he never plays the same solo like twice. You know,
No.
I mean, it's
one of those.
unlike Adrian Smith, who
Yeah.
actually wrote out his solos. But I think bringing them in as the 3 guitar attack now, they've become a lot more relaxed. I think even Adrian Smith
Yeah,
doesn't
but
play
of
the
course,
solos
but-
exactly right.
Adrian Smith and Dave Murray are playing guitar, and Yannick Jers is throwing his up in the air and doing
Yeah, that's
kicks and
cool
stuff.
though. He's
He's
doing
doing
around his neck.
Yeah,
It's like
Here's the thing. I always thought with Yannick, because you got to remember he came from a classic rock background. I'm not making excuses for him.
Right.
Ian Gillan
Right.
band. And
No, that's
everything
true.
else. And so
That's
you're
very
also
true.
doing the Tattooed Millionaire album and tour with Bruce. That's more of a bar band kind of rock, classic rock feel to it. But then you're going to Maiden. It's a whole different beast. So that transition.
No pun
there
intended.
Might have been, yeah, no pun intended, but it had to be a really difficult. I mean, for most players coming from that transition, unless you're like fucking Richie
Yeah.
Blackmore or anybody else can just fucking pick up anything and do it. But
They brought him
that had to
along
be-
because he
not
was a
making
nice
excuses
guy.
for him, but that
And
had
he-
to be kind of in the transition.
The funny
Visually,
thing is,
he does add visually, while everybody else is doing their job, he's running all over the place. That's his job, is to run and kick and throw
The
his
court
guitar.
jester up there. Is that what
Yeah,
you're
pretty
saying?
much, and it works.
but
It's-
he's also he's a good songwriter. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. What
Yeah,
was
you can't take it away.
what he wrote?
Passchendaele.
Okay, and that's
He's
a
writ- yeah,
terrific
great
song.
song, right? He's
Great
written
song.
quite a few good songs. Yeah.
but
So-
then you have it's funny because he came in on No Prayer for the Dying and Fear the Dark. Obviously, these are 2 albums from Maiden's dark ages. The guitar work wasn't really that great. The albums were so good. So he left Bruce Dickinson's solo stuff to pursue Maiden. And then when Bruce Dickinson left Maiden and was doing his solo stuff, he got H back to
Mhm.
do Accident of Birth and The Chemical Wedding, which are 2
Yes.
of the best fucking solo albums on the
Yes.
planet.
Yeah.
man.
Fantastic.
So
Yeah.
just to say, the duo of it's not so much Steve Harris and Dave Murray, but the chemistry between Adrian Smith and Bruce Dickinson
Yes.
shouldn't go unnoticed, because when those 2 write songs together,
Yeah,
It's-
phenomenal.
Look,
Awesome
I've
stuff.
I've been very vocal about this. For me, modern Bruce Dickinson's solo stuff with Adrian Smith is superior to modern Maiden. I can't. These songs that Maiden's right. I've talked to you guys about this and how I feel about this, man. This stuff's drawn out. It's very dry. I remember people getting real mad when I called Book of Souls Book of Snores. I fell asleep halfway listening to that. I mean, like halfway into it, I was
agree.
dozing off and I was like,
Yeah.
this is ridiculous. And I can't get into modern Maiden. I want that. It's not the songs or the lyrical matter. I know they're still doing great with that. It's the energy level that seems to be gone to me. And to me, I noticed it on Matter of Life and Death. I drove 2 hours to get that record, listened to it twice on the drive home, and was just like, what is this? That the songs that would come in energetic, they'd be like, yes, 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 yes. And then they'd go, "Brr," and the energy would be gone. And it was like, this is awful. And that's just the way I felt about it. Accident of Birth, Chemical Wedding, and even Tyranny of Souls.
Oh man.
Great stuff.
Dude, those albums are terrific. And I'm not saying these are 2 entirely different sounds too. The solo Dickinson sound, I don't want Maiden to sound like
It's heavy.
that.
It's like heavy.
Yeah, I
heavy
don't want
hard
them to
rock,
sound
right?
like that.
Yeah.
Like Roy Z and Adrian Smith together are titans. It's great. I just want that energy back in modern Maiden, and I just feel like they just lost it. And all their songs are real slow and real drawn out. It's like Metallica now, kind of doing the thing where they're like, "Here, we got this riff. Let's use this same riff for the whole song, and it's going to be
Yeah.
an 8-minute song." No,
My
we don't need
argument-
8 minutes of the same riff. And I'm not saying that Maiden's doing that. It's just like that's the parallel between it. It's to me, it's tired sounding. I love
think-
Iron Maiden. I just
think
want them to
Vic-
come back.
Yeah, I think Vic, they need
Yeah.
to change their producer. They've used Kevin fucking Shirley since they came back. And I
Is
think
that
sometimes
true? Is that so?
Yeah,
I
they
wasn't
haven't
aware of
used
that.
anybody else. And I'm like, come on, guys. Get
Yeah, maybe
somebody
that's
else
what it is.
in
Now,
there.
don't
Put a
get me
little-
wrong, because I think that I believe that forgive me, it's I'm drawing a blank right now. Ah, shit. Out of the Silent Planet. What was the name of that fucking record? Is that it? Because I can't.
Brave
That
New
was,
World.
Brave
Brave
New
New
World.
World.
Brave
There you
New
go.
World.
Yeah. I think that's a terrific comeback record. I
That's the
fucking
best.
love that album. And I can listen to that album regularly. And I was like, this is awesome. And it was like when they did Dance of Death, it was like all the weaker songs from Brave New World. I still liked it, because there's some great tracks on it. But then after that, it just, for me, it tanked. I haven't been able, they haven't resonated with me since that time. And it's unfortunate. I was just get back to your roots just a little bit. Maybe that means getting a little punkier. Maybe that means just going back to the new wave of British heavy metal sound and kind of getting away from these like deliberately super drawn out songs. They're just kind of dry to me.
Yeah, just don't write another Holy Smoke. We'll be all right.
I
I
would rather
actually
hear
like
that,
song.
to be honest. I would rather hear that.
It's
But-
just, man, those two, you could tell the wheels were coming off when Bruce.
Yeah,
was
no,
recording.
it's funny that Justin said the dark age of Maiden. Yes, I get that. No Prayer for the Dying and Fear of the Dark are both kind of weaker Maiden albums to me. And I mean, then, you know, with the Blaze stuff, it's not Blaze's fault, but also weaker records. I think there's great songs on the Blaze stuff. You can't
X
totally
Factor has some really good songs on it.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it
it's
really does.
Virtual XI has some as well. They're just, those albums are kind
Virtual
of
11
you know?
is yeah.
Like the Klansman's a great song, and apparently I still haven't heard I just didn't go out of my way to find the version with Bruce on it. I guess it's super good with Bruce on it.
Yeah, but with you got the Rock and Rio DVD, which was
Okay,
fantastic.
yeah, that's right,
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
I
they
do
play
actually have that too,
play
yeah.
some stuff on it. Yeah, right.
They
Yeah.
do Sign of the
So-
Cross and the Klansman.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they
that's
do
right.
they do Sign of the Cross where the volume doesn't
Doesn't
change.
increase.
Doesn't scare you.
Drastically.
Didn't scare you this
It
time.
doesn't scare Justin.
Yeah.
I can hear the backstage meeting. All right, guys, we scared Justin last time. Let's just keep the volume even. Okay. Let's not scare our let's not
Let's
scare
tone
him
this
this time.
down a bit, guys.
Yeah,
Hey,
come on now.
Down.
We don't need to
It
have it
is-
coming out both ends.
But yeah,
It's true.
that's a tangent from, you know, the original subject matter of the show. But I mean, Maiden's a great subject matter because they're a great band. And, you know, even their stinkers oftentimes are pretty fucking great. You know, they can do wrong. I believe that all big bands can do wrong.
Every band does. You know,
And I
every band
believe
has a
that,
misstep.
you know,
That's okay.
we've been dealing with that with like Metallica for like the past, you know, 20 years essentially. But, you know, and not to say that they're, you know, they do great things on the side. You can shit all over the music you want, but they have some great charities and
Yeah,
whatnot. But you know,
Sorcerer
still-
doesn't have a bad album.
That's right.
Thanks, man.
I mean, come on.
well, somebody like Sorcerer over there with his shirt and mug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Guess who
I'll
our
have to
guest
say-
is today on the show? You know. So.
Maybe by the time they get to
Dreadbull.
like 15 albums,
Come on,
maybe
suck
there
up.
might
Yeah,
be a
we'll
stinker
see.
in there.
Yeah,
We'll see
when
how
you
it
guys gonna
goes,
start?
you know?
What I want to know is when Sorcerer is bringing in the Yes Men so that they can just write whatever the fuck they want, and the guys are going, yeah, that's good, sounds good.
Yeah.
When you guys
don't
gonna
know.
get to that level?
We're not there. We're never gonna get there.
Okay,
But,
brother. You're right, and it's great to us, anyways. So yeah, keep going.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're
Uh,
fans. We're all fans. We like your music and we're excited about the new record coming out. And
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm
And,
excited too, and I'm looking forward, and I hope that we can play over there. But
Yes,
now we're
that
not
would be
talking
awesome.
about Sorcerer. This isn't a shameful plug for me. We're talking about one
No,
of the greatest
plug
bands
away,
in
man,
heavy
plug
metal
away.
history.
Dreadbull's wearing
We
a
know
shirt.
who won this. We knew
right,
who
we
was
know
gonna-
Maiden. Yeah, Peace of
We
Mind
knew.
won.
I knew who was winning before I even showed up. I think Justin did too.
I saw his
feel
list. I
Like we
knew
were
what
on
he
the
was gonna
same
pick.
page that Peace of Mind was going to beat Number the Beast. It's just
But-
how it has to be.
I
But
think
yeah, it's good. Go
you
ahead.
have to like listen to like how Maiden is, like how they've evolved and stuff like that. And I think a lot of like the scene kids nowadays, and don't get me wrong, it's cute that there's kids running around in high top sneakers, wearing denim vests, and wishing they were in the fucking new wave of British heavy metal, and they call it now
Right.
traditional metal,
Traditional metal.
which is just it's like, okay, that just means that you're trying to copy and mirror what they did in the new wave of British heavy metal, just with better production and yeah.
Wait a second. I know where you're from and I know who you're talking about. No names. Not going to mention any names.
No, but what gets me is like, you know, you've got a band like that, and you have like this fan base that are just totally shitting over Iron Maiden, and they're talking about, you know, their way of saying like the pillar of their of the new album's greatness. It's like, think about the creativity of the band Angel Witch and their album Angel Witch and that song they did called Angel Witch.
Witch. Well,
It's
Justin's
like-
clearly not an angel witch.
I love Angel Witch, that song. I think actually their best song is The Gorgon, but
Yeah.
you know, the album's great, but it's just like there's a reason those bands kind of tapered off and
Right.
didn't really go anywhere there's a reason they got dwarfed. I mean, Maiden were doing their thing. Even bands like Def Leppard. Like, I'm not a Def Leppard fan, but you know what? They were playing the right kind of style that
Mhm.
fit the band, right place, right time, and they were just
Right.
doing their thing. So where Maiden was taking the new wave of British heavy metal their way, Def Leppard, who are also
Right.
from the new wave of British heavy metal, were like, okay, let's capitalize on this fucking movement, stadiums, chicks, and guitars, and we'll pour some sugar on it.
I think Maiden
So-
also, you're right in that they took that music, but it wasn't just the music that made Iron Maiden. You know, Steve Harris's vision of the live show is another thing that really took them beyond other bands. You know, everybody liked the big show, the big productions of like Ronnie James Dio fighting dragons with
Yeah.
laser whips, and you know, everybody. These are a lot of Kiss fans coming up here. You know, that are writing music now, and Kiss had and still has one of the greatest live shows you can go see. You know, one of the things
Dreadbull.
like Alice Cooper, man, is the greatest, one of the greatest live shows I've ever seen, on par with Iron Maiden. When I saw Cooper open for Motley Crue, I was like, man, why did you guys have him open? Because he just murdered your show. I mean,
Yeah.
it was fantastic. And Iron Maiden capitalized on that. They're like, we got this mascot. He's huge. Let's do all this stuff. We got this super energetic front man, huge, huge stages. Everybody's moving around. We got things. We got new gear, all the whole visualization. And maybe they didn't fully come into that until like Power Slave, but they certainly capitalized on it. And then it didn't take Steve Harris long to be like, guys, merchandising. I mean, Lars Ulrich has admitted that Metallica based their merchandising off of Iron Maiden. He says Steve Harris was a genius. He put Iron Maiden on everything, and
But
that's
it wasn't
a
Steve
fact.
Harris.
Oh no, I swear it
was
was Steve Harris.
It was Rod Smallwood.
He was the one that did it, eh?
Yeah.
He's the figurehead
makes
behind
sense.
the whole Maiden.
Spearheading the marketing. That's not. There's nothing.
Which
it
they
was-
take a page from Kiss.
exactly.
Gene Simmons
exactly.
is a whore marketing Kiss to everything.
And
So-
Yeah.
it's hilarious because every band in, like, we say, like the big bands in the 70s and 80s that were starting out open for Kiss. You had Judas Priest, you had Rush, Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Van
I
Halen.
believe Thin Lizzy opened for them. I mean, it's just like this barrage of just fantastic bands who would later go on to achieve just like
Right.
cult status. And
Right.
but I mean, the bigger bands nowadays, because obviously Thin Lizzy aren't really a thing anymore, given
Right.
the fact of death and stuff like that. But you know, Maiden, Judas Priest, Van Halen, yeah. I mean, they all capitalized on merchandising.
Yeah.
And just took a page out of that book.
I still think Maiden is one of the titans of it. I think they did it best. I mean, I've seen Priest live, and it was great seeing Priest live, but it's nothing like an Iron Maiden show. You know, you got Bruce, he's doing costume changes. He's sometimes he's upstairs, sometimes he's downstairs, because there's always two levels of their stages, and
But, I mean,
that's fantastic, you know.
you look at an album like that, like
Right.
I mean, when you get that convolute, like the actual record in your hand, and you're
Yeah.
looking at it, like this was like second Eddie. So this is like, if you compare like the original Eddie,
Right.
which was like a Vietnam,
Yes.
like this Eddie,
Yes.
Right.
you know, it's not the same as this. This is where
Not at all.
Eddie kind of got like the haircut and everything. But when you look at these albums that Derek Riggs did, you're picking it up and you're looking at like just this beautiful piece of
Yeah.
art.
Mhm.
And if you look at, I think his best one is actually the Somewhere in Time album cover, because there's
Yeah.
so many hidden, like,
Oh,
where's
God.
Waldo?
Yeah, there's
things in
Easter
there.
eggs in there. Yeah, there's Easter eggs
So-
all over the place in there.
You know, they capitalized on that, and that's brilliant. I think that they did a great
Yeah.
job.
No, they
Mhm.
absolutely did, and that it can you can kind of, their legacy. There it is, So it wasn't just the music; they had great songs.
Well, then you bring the album onto the stage. You know,
Right.
like when
Yeah.
I saw them on Somewhere in Time, they had all that. It looked like the set from Blade Runner.
Yeah.
They had the air car going around. They had, they had all kinds. It looked like the streets. I mean, it looked all, post-apocalyptic. And then Bruce had that leather jacket with all the wiring and the things
Yeah.
glowing. He said the battery only lasted like 12 minutes or something, so he could only wear it a couple songs, because it would stop like beeping and making, lights and stuff. But it just brought the album to the set. Like, when
Yeah.
you watch Live After Death, it's that Egyptian mythology. It's the sarcophagi. I mean, what a
With Eddie's
fantastic-
face on it, like
Yeah,
brilliant.
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
And the Seventh Son stage set too. All the Arctic
Yeah.
and the frozen
And
wasteland. Just beautiful.
The embryo or the, that
Yeah,
had
the
that
hand
Eddie
coming out.
that would come out with the baby in the,
In
you
the
know,
Oh
uterus.
yes.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was cool,
Yeah.
man. Like, so that's
think-
something, you can never, this band can never be, it's earned its place in metal history, regardless of how it sounds now. And you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's never, no one's comment should ever be taken like too like seriously, because it's like, people are allowed to have their opinions on things. And just kind of a weird segue here, but I love Iron Maiden, so it's like, it's fun to talk about, and they've earned their place in metal history, just given it's not just the music that got them there. Those guys were smart.
The total
And
package. It's why we
it
like
was the
them.
total package, right?
Yeah.
And like, that's something you never heard about either. It wasn't like, no one was like, oh yeah, in rehab or constantly doing drugs and stuff. Like, these guys, I'm sure they had some great parties or whatever, but I mean, like, they kept their heads on straight. They had a good business strategy, and they made great music. And there's more to it than just writing cool riffs. There's a lot more to it. These guys have earned their place, and no one can forget about them. They've written some of the greatest heavy metal music and albums of all time. That's my 2 cents on Iron Maiden.
All right.
I
And I
agree.
think Justin, one last word before we wrap things up.
No, I totally am in line with Vic on this. I think that Iron Maiden are just one of those bands that they always will withstand the test of time.
Mhm.
Like, they can't do any wrong in my book. They've had their ups and downs, but as a fan, being an avid Maiden fan, I love even when they have their shortcomings. I
Mm.
still support them. I'm still gonna go out and buy their records. It's just what I do. I love this band, and I don't think that they can do any wrong at all.
Yeah.
Especially on the latest record. One of the closing tracks on the latter half of the album, The Parchment, I believe it's called.
Oh yeah.
That last half of that song is written. It's a typical Maiden riff, but they've also written it so that way when Bruce comes in with his voice, because he can't sing like he did in the 80s.
Right.
And he can't do these like vicious, gnarly, kind of like screechy growls that he did in the 90s. So now we've got a new Dickinson. And I think that just that one part at the end of that, I'll give you guys some homework. Vic, you can go and listen to it. The Parchment, it's the last half of the song. The way he sings it there, it's goosebumps. Just the way, the rhythm, everything about it, the typical Maiden, like do.
See, I've been weary. After the Book of Souls incident, for me, I was like, not doing this
The new
anymore.
album is better than Book of Souls.
So I haven't listened
Yeah.
to, was it Senjutsu? Is that what
Yeah.
it is? That
Yeah.
is that what it's called?
Senjutsu, yeah.
It
But if
needs
you
a
I
couple
thought
listens.
the art was cool. I wish they would, honestly, to be honest, I wish they'd get away from the CGI stuff and get back to like actual hand painted art. Derek
Yeah.
Riggs is still around. I wish they could make amends or whatever's going on with that, like, and pull him back in. He started doing some weird stuff because he also did the art for like White Wizard's first thing, and he
Yeah.
totally did a great wizard, but then he did this really bad like gamma ray from the 90s CGI background. So I don't know if that's something that happened, but like, let's get some. One thing that I would love to see him do is get a little bit back to their roots. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking for in Maiden. I felt like they got back to their roots on Brave New World. I really felt like that felt like Maiden to me. But I'll give this one a shot. I didn't listen to anything
your
from
homework.
it. So
Take that track.
yeah.
Before you listen to it, listen to the last half of it, like the last 6 minutes of it.
Okay.
While you're
And-
at it, throw on Darkest Hour. That for me
Also-
does it for me. The
Also a
vocals
great
on
track.
that song.
Yeah. Love
That's
that.
goosebumps.
But the Parchment, I think, is one of the better modern Maiden tracks. And
Okay.
like I said, in closing, yeah, what can be said? You could listen to any other band in the world, and just get sick of them. And I think that Maiden's just one of those ones. Like, immediately when you hear it, if you're at a pub or something, or you're just at a social gathering, there comes a time where a Maiden song comes on, and maybe not everybody, but most of the room's gonna stop and be like, some will say it out loud, and some will just say it in their head, just like, it's fucking Iron Maiden. And they just do it. It's a natural thing. It's like, well, fuck, Maiden. All right, cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right. There you go.
There you
And
have it.
there it is.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. And I think that, I'm just glad that it's one of those bands that never got caught up in controversies, never got caught up in the hustle and bustle of the 80s excess with drugs, chicks and alcohol, and didn't fall in line with all the tropes that were going on, kept themselves educated, kept themselves well informed, well versed, and just all in all were and always will be a fantastic band.
Yeah.
Well,
Excellent.
So that's
All
Maiden.
right.
I love Maiden. Yeah.
Well, Justin, thank you for coming back onto Heavy Metal Horror to do this edition of Slugfest. Vic, thank you for joining us again. It's nice to have you back in the fold. I know we'll probably never see you again unless Justin chums on. So maybe when the new album comes out, you can join us again. But our next, to give it a little preview for our next show is we're going to be interviewing Nikki Law from Breaking the Law PR, Century Media Records. And Justin, Nikki says hi to you guys at Sorcerer. So, hey, you can find Heavy Metal Horror on unsaneradio.com. Listen to full episodes or download to your device. You can find us on Facebook, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. On Instagram, look for Montag Lewis, one word. Our YouTube page, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. If you're watching, that's where you're at. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you know someone who'd like a show, tell them about us. This has been Montag, Mass Revolution.
And Chop Top.
And Dreadbull. Not Vic.
Not me.
And just Justin.
And you've been watching and listening to Heavy Metal Slugfest. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
We've
Great
got like
people.
40 minutes before Nikki shows up. We're going to take a little break.
Oh,
'cause she's
wow.
coming-
Okay.
Yeah, 4:00. So that's why I was we're going to wrap things up here. And I know it's like, wow, we got another show to do here.
Yeah.
No, this has been great. A lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
of course.
Thank you. Thank you, Vic. Appreciate
We'll
it.
send
Yeah,
you
no
links when
problem.
it's done. You can share it on all your social medias and all that jazz.
Excellent.
And it'll be out in a month or so.
Can't wait to have you back.
Yes.
Can't
looking
wait to
forward
listen to the new album with you.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll get through that and see what you guys think.
Ooh.
We'll love it. There's no question.
Sounds good, man. All
Don't
right, guys.
disappoint us. No pressure. But
Yeah,
don't
no
disappoint
pressure.
us.
Man, he's
No
always thinking,
draws.
man, I better make this good for Dreadbull. Man, I don't want to disappoint him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just keep that in mind.
you guys realize that I showed up and I brought Vic with me, right?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Well, we still like you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well,
Okay, we
you know
can hold
what?
that against
You
you.
can make up
Even-
for it.
Even if I am a disappointment, misery loves company. So I'm taking
That's
Vic
right.
with me.
he brought the show down a whole octave in a good
Yep.
way.
In a good way.
But it's been lovely, guys. And like I said,
Thank you
I
so
would love
much.
to sit and drink beers in Ohio and do the old
Yes.
Ohio thing.
We'll
Yeah.
do the
And,
Ohio tour.
That'd be so
It's
cool.
been
Take you down
lovely
to
seeing
Amish
Vic
country.
and all you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having me back.
Oh,
And
our pleasure. Anytime. I know Christian's going to come next time because he was recording, so he'll be
Yeah.
on for something. And the next Slugfest we're doing, Matt Thompson's going to be joining us for Abigail versus Abigail 2. So
Oh, wow.
how fucking cool is that?
That's cool.
well,
Seems
That's-
like, I don't
that's-
know. It seems like a conflict of interest, but
but
Well,
to be-
I'm
to-
hoping he'll bring in Mickey D. Like they're good friends. I'm like, you want to give Mickey a call and have him come over?
to be fair, I mean, it's Abigail.
Yeah. You
Well,
know,
gonna-
we
it'll
pretty
be-
much
it'll
know
be
who's
a
gonna win.
Slugfest.
We
I like
pretty
both
much know
albums.
who's
I
gonna
think they're
win.
both very different albums, but I have to cut this short because this thing is going to take
Yeah.
a half hour to render. So I got to clear out the channels. I know. It's
make
good,
him
man.
wait. Make him
I
stay
know.
on.
I'll just cut off I'll just
Suffer.
cut off the feed, man. All right, guys. Thanks
All
so
right,
much.
See you later, man.
Yeah.
Take
See you
care,
later.
buddy.
All right, guys. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.